Yo. All right, not too bad. How about you? No, you're not.
I'm not?
No, you're not muted at all.
Oh, okay, good. Excellent. So, how am I feeling this week? Um I'm feeling good. I want to give a big shout out, a huge congratulations to the concept of the potato. It's been a big week for potatoes.
You know, the potato has helped quite a few over the years survive starvation,
Or not,
or not. But
or not.
you having potatoes helps you live. It's quite a useful food, and you can do
That's
many
true.
things with them.
It's true. I would like to congratulate the people of the potato, that being the Irish,
Mm-hmm.
for their new holiday,
Mm-hmm.
being that stupid old bastard, the Queen of England, is finally dead! Yay! Yay! I waited my whole life for this! And now I'll wait a much, much shorter period of time to witness the death of the King of England! Yay!
Rip old lady. Yeah. Castles suck, right? Fuck people in castles. What a
Oh,
terrible thing.
absolutely.
Who
100%.
would think a castle was cool and name anything after that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, castles are cool. The people who live in them are fucks, though. Um, I see that you took a day in observance of
Ah,
Her Majesty's passing.
yes, of course. Uh, totally. That was absolutely in observation of HMS and not because I had family obligations or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. You were just you went to your shrine with the little crown, and you did 5 half waves to it with tears in your eyes.
Yep. And then
What a
yeah. Well, anyway, I mean,
ah.
hmm hmm
So what's up with you, man?
um,
Aside from the ensuing celebrations.
yeah, no, I did 5 half waves and then I knelt, and um, as I knelt, I made sure to not grope my daughter's ass on the way down.
You made sure? Okay, good. Good,
Good thing,
important.
good thing to do after your mom dies is to avoid groping your daughter's ass.
It's important. Not in front of people, anyway.
I mean, unless you can't help it, unless
I,
it's
I,
unless it's a ridiculous compulsion that indicates that you have
listen, listen.
no concept of self control whatsoever
Sometimes you just got fat, fucking fucked up, deformed fingers, and they have a mind of their own.
because of the like incest and stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, for those of you who are not following us at all, the British royal family is a bunch of cover-up artists and pedo rapists, allegedly. That's the joke.
Well, and more to the point, there's a little video of Prince Andrew kneeling at the grave, and in the process of going to bend down, he holds his hand over his daughter's ass for a suspiciously weird amount of time and kind of gets a little bit of a
Well, it's I
grope
mean,
in there.
it's yeah,
There's a little
it's
there's a full on, you know.
it's how they transfer the scales between them in plain view as a joke.
it just like that, like with cameras and everything around, and your inability to fucking control yourself in that circumstance just makes me like, it's like the same guy who thought the sweat alibi was a good idea is also operating the brain that is going to do that in that circumstance. So you're just damaged. There's no fixing that.
I can't explain to you. So Paige found a video of the new king signing some bullshit.
Oh yeah, where he goes,
As he
he's
is
upset because
trying to
it's a tiny little table,
somebody,
and then there's a pen holder, and then there's like a little like typewriter in the way, and
I
like
don't want to touch it. Move it, move it, move it.
he's very upset.
Now I can't touch it.
Very upset
And
that the table has not been arranged. Yeah.
Paige calling him King Tampon has filled me with joy. For at least a few days.
King Tampon.
Yeah, because some fucking old timey DMs of him leaked out when he was courting Camilla. And he was like, "Oh, that I could be a tampon in your pantaloons, so I could be inside you always."
There you go. Nice. Queen Regent. Queen Consort, excuse me.
Fucking whatever.
Sweat alibi, question mark. Yeah, you know, like Prince Andrew says he can't sweat, and that's why he couldn't have raped a child, because he doesn't sweat.
That's it.
You remember?
Yeah, no.
You know. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's hey, anyway.
That's all it is. Yeah. I saw something troubling. I saw that the funeral procession today for the Queen had British Armed Forces snipers viewing the procession. I assume in fear of her raising as if her phylactery had not been found. Just in case.
Okay. I did see someone was yelling at Andrew, and that kid got pulled away. But
oh yeah, no, that kid got arrested.
Yeah, I did see that.
Oh.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Anyway. I mean, whatever, man. Rip old lady. That's about it. You know.
You know the saddest part about this is, in my heart, genuinely. I had everybody has two sets of grandparents, right? I had the one set of grandparents that are good old-fashioned French Canadians, and I had the other set of grandparents who have now passed. Actually, they're all dead, come to think of it. But who are good old-fashioned monarchist loyalists and would like follow that shit at all times. Like, Pat, you have to say the loyalty to the Queen, blah, blah. And they would be beside themselves. They would be crying. And, oh, can you believe it? Oh, it's such a shame. And I don't get to see their fucking hand-wringing bullshit. Because they dead. Oh, well. What's up with you, man?
Let's see. Yeah, not a ton. More?
Yeah. No. It's like the vicious nonsense followed by "What's up?" and not much. And,
yeah, no, pretty much. Well, okay. So here's what's I'm fully just like Rumble versus. I'm playing a little bit, just about every day now.
Yeah.
Really, just feeling
it's
that
good.
Like, it's good, and it's. I feel the time wasting moments, the moments of like I need to just like, chill out for a bit, make me want to just kind of jump in, see if I can't do a stone cold stunner off the top of a skyscraper.
And sometimes you can.
And yeah, that game's scratching my like quick fix itch. And I'm happy to say that I've managed to hide the art style almost completely through the use of cosmetics. And I'm like, hey man, I'll take my money, guys. Iron Galaxy, have my cash.
It's
I want to dress up and hide my toys, so that you cannot see their form whatsoever.
it's it's not Nidhogg 2.
Mm-mm. But I got like
Nothing is.
but I got like a biker helmet. I got some spiky football shoulder pads. I got like a suit and tie. You know, you got some stuff
Yeah.
that can really go a long way. I got like a Power Ranger cosplay and like a Ryu gi and stuff. There's all kinds of things you can do to just layer it on there, you know? Um, but yeah, they've managed to monetize my wallet directly by essentially showing that like you can spend cash to de-ugly your character.
What if
That's a
what
great
if we
plan.
made the game not ugly enough that people didn't play it, but ugly enough that they wanted to fix it?
Yeah. So, and I really do like. I have no basis for this whatsoever. It's straight from the third
Okay.
ass chamber, but I really do feel like, um, Epic, like could have told them at some point, just we don't want any of these characters to look like they might be Fortnite when someone glances at this game.
Well, see, that's the weirdest thing is that it does kind of look like Fortnite.
In
Like
lighting and
the roundness of proportion and the lighting and the style.
in post Pixar, um, like whatever Disneyfication,
Yeah.
but like just not in proportion, you know.
Mm.
Anyways, but yeah, other things, I guess. For one, I had a pretty fun night the other night. Went out, about 2 hours out of the city, brought the telescope, and did some
Oh yeah?
stargazing.
Hell yeah.
Got some giant, pretty pictures of the moon. Um,
Dude, that
and
rules.
it's fucking cool. It's really nice. Yeah, man. Just went out to because you can check out light pollution maps, right? And you can see what grade your current location is, and so obviously everything on the island is just like highest grade light pollution, and then when you get to transition from like suburb to highway or suburb to farmland, you get into like
Yeah.
tier 2, tier 3. You're not as
You
polluted.
but you have to go into a like dedicated sky sanctuary or a completely like depopulated area to get to your good seeing.
Yes, the best viewing is more than a day trip, I feel, you know?
Yeah.
But for the purposes of just like a casual drive out for the night, yeah, we got out to some farm and hit a parking lot and just kind of set up and did it. And yeah, like pretty good viewing. And like it's the type of thing too where like the more you learn about like the celestial bodies and how to set things up and your accessories and tools, the better and quicker you can do it the next time. So we're also just kind of warming up to the process of like learning how to use the telescope properly. It's got a fun like little like tracking thing on it too that can like help you find things easier. Got a good look at the night that we were out there, we got to see Saturn, we got to see the moon, obviously, Mars from a great distance, and Jupiter.
Well, they're all
Yeah.
very far away. Yes.
So, yes, but by relative comparison to other
Yeah.
heavenly bodies, you can see
Yeah.
those things shining pretty brightly in the sky when you are light polluted, in general. And to be honest, they're better like viewing anyways because a lot of stars are just it's just a light in the sky that kind of twinkles even
Yeah.
at close observation. But like when you look at a planet, you get to see the form, you get to see the texture of it, the color and a lot of the distinct shapes and things. And it's real like fucking. It's just yeah, it's really
I gotta
cool.
I gotta say your timing on this is absolutely excellent. That you went out and took a look at the as close to unobstructed night sky as you could feasibly. Have you heard of Blue Walker 3?
What is that?
Blue Walker 3 is a cell phone and broadband internet satellite due to go into space this month
Hmm.
that is projected to unironically ruin the night sky, as it will be the brightest object at night save for the moon. It will be
What?
orders of magnitude brighter than every other star, including Polaris.
What the fuck? And we have no light pollution laws internationally. So fuck
Well,
that, right?
it's where it's space. Who's gonna
Yeah.
stop them?
Oh my god. Because the thing is that the bright, like when it comes to like stargazing, the brightest stars can make it harder to see the ones around them. You know, the moon as its giant bright spot makes it harder to like pick up on things around, and light pollution is it's a huge problem if you're in the city. That fucking sucks, man. Um
Yeah,
okay. So
goody.
um
So soon, light pollution won't just be in your vicinity; it'll be in the sky too. What's the satellite even going to be doing? Someone in the chat asks. It's going to provide cell phone coverage
um
and internet for cell phone.
and is it being piloted by Handsome Jack by any chance?
No.
Like, what the fuck, man? Okay. Okay. Why does
So
it
I'm
have to have
glad I'm glad you enjoyed that experience right now.
like so you can, for example, the ISS is something that you can track and see if you're a badass motherfucker with skills on the telescope. If you
I
know
thought
how
the
to
ISS was long gone.
uh well, is it or did it? No, it's still up there. Didn't they just have a conflict where there were there were Ukrainian
Oh,
um,
it's still up
astronauts?
there? Okay. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. They
there was a
did.
conflict
Yeah,
with
you're
some
right.
Ukrainian astronauts that were up there that had to land just the other day. Um, well, anyway, um, so yeah, the ISS when it orbits, it's very quick. It's like a half-hour thing, and the trouble with like telescoping things at a distance is like the rotation, obviously, of everything is quick enough that like if you center something in in the glass and then you like talk or turn and then kind of turn back to it in a few seconds, it's already moving away, you know? So
Yeah, for every foot of distance from the telescope, your degree into minutes angle is going to exponentially multiply its distance out there. So even a millimeter tap is going to represent like what, a mile, 100 miles,
however crazy, right? And on
depending how
top,
far you're looking at something.
and so this thing is flying across the sky, and it's like to get it to actually catch it in motion, you have to have like like tracking set up. You have to calculate, you have to do math to know where to look and land on it and can pick it up, you know. But like that's a cool thing because it's out there. We made it. And that's unintrusive. Why the fuck does this thing have to glow and be bright and refract
Oh,
light?
well, there's a clear reason for that. It doesn't glow. What it does is it's covered with a lot of paneling that happens to be reflective. I believe it's
Okay.
solar panels.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's shining off of sunlight reflected, similar to the moon. But any object you put in space that's big enough, it's also fucking huge, that has any reflective coating, will be bright as shit.
Awesome. Great. Well, in the meantime, well, I guess I'll try to see what I can. But having fun with that. And yeah, buying some lenses and accessories and kind of like getting better at like scoping out the star placement and so on. So yeah, I'm not quite somebody who can drift on a raft and make my way home just you looking at the night sky. But we're taking baby steps. We're getting there.
Have you been able to measure stellar parallax on your own equipment?
Maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
not.
that would take you like 300 years.
But I
But
did
hey,
look at a cool crater on the moon,
cool.
and it was pretty dope. It was very detailed.
You know, the moon is one of my favorite like astronomical things in terms of its history. Like, so you got the Greeks and you got various civilizations around that time and pre that, where you're talking about like the heavenly bodies, right? The pristine, perfect heavenly bodies. The Earth is mutable, the Earth changes, but up there things stay the same
Mm-hmm.
because within the time periods that you're recording it astronomically back in 1,000 or zero, they don't change. They're off by an inch every 400 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the moon as a perfect heavenly body, and it always very strongly bothered me because you can see that the moon is not perfect with the naked eye. Like, you can
What?
see craters on the moon
When you say
with
perfect, you
your
mean like smooth and spherical?
I mean smooth,
Oh, yeah.
unchanging,
Okay. Okay.
perfectly shaped,
Sure.
etc.
Yeah.
And it's like I can see that the moon has fucking holes in it from here.
Yeah. Sure. It's a rock. I mean, why would I
No,
expect
man.
it to not be full of holes? And I guess.
Everything up there in the spheres and the fucking
What are
oh
these
god,
expectations that the
the
things in space would
firmament.
be perfectly spherical? And they're fucking rocks and gas, dude. Like,
You got to go back and punch Aristotle in the face for this.
okay, well, um, either way, I got a pretty decent
Hold
photo.
on! Stop making up a historical guy to get mad at. You mean Aristotle?
Look how big. Look how big that is.
It's large.
I got a huge, crisp, detailed picture. Yeah. It's like a Bayonetta logo. Anyway,
I just want to point out, and I've done it in the past too, where we look at something as ancient, primal, and important to human society as the moon, and we go, "Hey, it's like Bayonetta."
mm-hmm. That's precisely why I did that.
Yeah.
So, speaking of other things that are uh, like Bayonetta, I guess, I don't know, looking for some transition. I watched the first little bit of Jojo, started that, and
When you say the first little bit, do you mean the first 12 episodes or the
the
first bit of the new 12
the
episodes?
first 3 episodes of the new season, so part 2.
Okay.
And yeah, I can confirm because I'm watching it with Punch Mom, so going through that, I can confirm that the binge drop is the least hype way to release a JoJo season ever. It is
I think
just a fucking bummer.
I think it's actually even way worse than that. Because I think the split binge drop is even worse than the binge drop. Like, I am absolutely baffled at the way that this has occurred. I didn't even realize it was actually out yet
Yeah, so it's
until
out,
you
it's
just
up,
told me that.
and well, the thing is that like I assume they're kind of just like stocking up, week by week effort that would normally be a broadcast time, and then just dropping it when it's ready, and they don't want to wait for the entire thing to be done before they let anyone see that. So they're doing it half and half, and it's a really just bummer way to release things. Now, the quality of what they're putting out is not in question at all. It's still fucking awesome.
Well, yeah, but it's the difference between David Productions and Netflix.
Yes, and as a result, people don't know when it drops / when it does drop. It's talked about for like a 2-second window, and then it's gone. And same thing happened when 1 came out. People kind of were excited for that initial thing, and because it's not also like going week to week, you also don't have the ability to like have every episode be a discussion point. Right? So like arcs start and end, and people just go, "Oh yeah, I like that thing," and then you just kind of You know, you don't get that journey alongside everybody that was the first 5 seasons, essentially, or 4 seasons, I should say, since this is technically season 5. It is just a fucking blah. It's a unhype way to go, and I really hope they don't do this for anything else coming up. You know, the other thing I'll say is maybe this is just like I might just be reading too far into things, but I'm seeing some more liberal use of 3D in the show. Like the 3D from in JoJo, 3D in the intro is a given. And then in the actual show, rarely there'll be like maybe a couple of things referentially, but you don't see much. And now there's a couple of things like nothing detailed or important that's a major thing, just like an inanimate object like a pen or a fan, and I totally am looking into those little things as training wheels. They're trying to get their foot in the door for 3D horses. I think this is how they test the waters. Because it's such an
I don't know, man.
When you see what they're doing, they're taking little moments and testing it out, and you know that they're labbing it off screen. But like putting into the show, it's not stuff that would like, for example, a fan spinning on the ceiling in 3D. If that thing is ugly, it's not going to ruin the shot or that episode at all.
It'll just be like, oh, I wonder why they did the fan in 3D.
But they easily could be doing that stuff in 2D. They're just choosing not to. So I think those are tests. I really think they're testing the waters.
Listen, you know what they just should do? They should just have them be motorcycles.
like listen. Because the problem, and this is a real threat, the threat that is Berserk 2016 is right over there.
It's right there.
It's in recent memory. If you said like, oh, Berserk 2006 or something, it'd be like, oh god, whatever, we've gotten so much better since then. But we haven't. Berserk 2016 just happened. So that's such a recent, awful, horrible memory.
Even the Berserk 3D movies had lots of scenes with horses, and like they looked way worse than everything else in those films. Like way worse.
And it sucks because those movies also looked gorgeous.
They looked great, except for the part with the horsey.
So you have to be careful, because something that looks beautiful can still have an element that is kind of ruined by bad 3D or badly planned 3D, I'll say. Because bad 3D, because like bad 3D is one thing, right? You could have poorly modeled, poorly rigged, movement. But then, like, badly planned 3D is a much larger problem, where it's just like the entire approach you went for was bound to fail here, you know? And when I think about, like, the horses that we're going to need, we don't just need horses. We need Araki horses. Araki horses have muscles, and they have large, detailed, broad
wheels
form. You know, and you can just make a 3D horse that is effectively a motorcycle, where it just has like a legs running animation that's kind of locked in, you know. No, there's a word that I was trying to remember that I'm forgetting. When you're referring to like the musculature of something, right? If you look at
tendons, ligaments,
musculature,
fascia.
Really, you're right. So
okay,
when you learn to draw like the body details, things like that, if you go grab a copy of Byrne Hogarth's Dynamic Anatomy, which is a really great book for teaching you how to draw anatomy, right? You see how like emphasizing the muscles and the lining and the tracing of the bumps underneath like a hand or like a forearm and all that stuff. It looks really cool when you exaggerate where those muscle lines would be and then just kind of drop some skin over it. So it's what you see in those fucking horses. And you guys will get there when you do fucking get... I don't want to... I'm not going to go too much into Steel Ball Run, but I'll say that there's horses in it, and the horses look really cool. So to do justice to those, you can't just make a fucking Lego horse in 3D and make it go... Brrr.
So, like...
Are
there parts of the story that you need the horse to be like a living creature, or could you just do a motorcycle? Like, for real. Like, could you?
I mean, you're gonna get motorcycle. You're gonna get a wheelchair. Like it's
no,
gonna.
I'm just saying. Because like, if there's a part where like, oh no, they shot my horse, you could be like, oh no, they shot my ride, and now its gas is leaking.
So someone just wrote backy horses, and that's correct, right?
Oh no.
Grappler backy horses. Imagine that, if you would. So, yeah, it's it's a cool thing that I'm looking forward to, but it can go wrong in a lot of ways, and it's gonna need to look better than the 3D horses that were made for like the fighting game, for example, All-Star Battle and Eyes of Heaven. It's going to need to be better than that. It's going to need to look really cool. We'll see, man.
I'm real skeptical. Because, like, every time I'm not a drawer, right? I don't draw things. I'm bad at it. But every time I've spoken to anyone who is a drawer, and I go, what's up with horses? They just start swearing at me. And getting like pissed off because nobody likes to draw horses except for a horse girl.
Araki clearly did. I mean, for this part, he definitely like threw himself into, fucking horse anatomy and went really hard on it. Now I'm looking at some panels from it as well. Like I'm currently looking at them, and I'm seeing like some examples of how like. When you see like the amount of muscles and the things and the details and whatnot, like I guess you can do that in a way that kind of ignores that stuff in motion. When you look at it as a manga panel, you see like a bunch of, let's say just like make it vague or whatever, zoom out, you see a horse, you see the neck, you see its legs, and you see a bunch of bumps, and it's like, oh, that's a panel of a horse rearing up, right? If you're gonna animate that and do a good job of it, you're gonna like have those bumps like do the right things in the right way when it starts to rear and move and stuff. So anyway, we'll see what they do. It's probably the biggest problem they've had to solve, and I'm sure they've been thinking about it since at least 5 or 6 years ago of how to approach this,
Oh no, we're doing this, huh? We're gonna have to do the horsies too. Oh man, I don't want to draw a horsey.
But I think we're seeing the test in these episodes. Anyway, that aside, boy, am I still super duper down with my favorite stand, which is Survivor in part 6 here, which is one of the first ones of part 2. Not part 2, right. The second drop of episodes they touch on, they get to Survivor.
Isn't this wonderfully easy to talk about? Isn't this incredibly clear?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's so hype. It's so fun. I love it. And like seeing it in action, it's it's doing it justice. It's exactly what I wanted conveyed, which is just, what if a tournament was a stand? What if Evo was a stand? And everybody was ready to money match, and everyone was popping off like, let's fucking go! Everyone just got out of pools and made it to top 64, or top 28 or whatever, Everyone just made it to top 16, and they're super hyped for it. What if that was a stand? Man, it was so good. So I'm glad at how that was done, and I also feel like I'm extra down with the fact that it is described in the show as the weakest, most worthless, useless fucking stand.
Oh, that's my favorite.
It's the best.
Those are my favorite.
It is described as complete trash tier, and when you see the breakdown on the commercial of like its stats, it's just
all F.
E's across the board.
Oh my goodness.
With like a C in range, I think. It's so fucking low tier garbage, but it's the best, man. Yeah, that's what if you happen to watch it, that is my favorite in the entire fucking franchise, like free. So, the breakneck pace is still jarring, but I suppose it's better than being too slow and too filler oriented. Yeah. But I just kind of remember moments that felt like they built up and then like were dramatic on conclusion. And for example, like there's stuff about like part 5 where there was chases and fights that kind of lasted a while, and then the conclusion would be like a big moment. And here, for example, Limp Bizkit you know, is introduced and dealt with in the span of fucking, you know, whatever, 20 minutes practically, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when I was reading that moment by moment, it felt longer in my head, you know? But anyway, yeah, give it a watch, and then, you know, there'll be more to talk about. But I'm also really bummed out that there's no new intro as well. That fucking sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's like extra bummer this time around because the intro for the first 12 episodes has all the events of those 12 episodes in the intro. It's awesome. Yeah. And now you're getting those outdated events unupdated as we go into this second sequence. And it's like, god damn it, man. You know, every time that the arc changed in Diamond is Unbreakable, we got a new awesome intro to make up for the change of the pace. Yeah. And each of them was directly relevant to the stands we'd be seeing and the events of the plot unfolding in that arc.
We kind of got 5.
I mean, modifications, you know, modifications are always a part of it. But when you have, like, all these really awesomely, smartly integrated moments, you know, for, like, the first 12, you see, like, oh, there's, like, the CD, there's the tires, there's that room. You recognize some of the details and some of the people in the background and all the things coming together in a very JoJo-esque way. But now we're going into another 12 episodes that have nothing to do with all those things. So it kind of turns it into a generic intro as opposed to one that's, like, thematically playing with what those episodes are about. They might have just not had the time or the cash or the music, really. But it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
It's because they're spending all the money putting them into 3D horsies. Could that be where it's going?
I thought they were going to break the show into 3, but maybe I'm guessing they're going to break it into 2. And there is a point where if they don't change the intro, they're fucking up. Right?
Which
is essentially the next drop of episodes. If the next
isn't Steel Ball Run insanely long?
So it feels that way to me, but I've been you know what? I've been wrong about
that.
Because I thought that I thought 6 was long, and it turns out it's not as long as I remembered. So, but like Steel Ball Run it is very long. The thing is like, so in terms of,
we better get more interest for that then.
Yeah, I don't imagine you can cram it into fucking 36 episodes and do the type of thing you've been doing with recent parts. It's so fucking insanely big, but I remember 6 being a big long journey too, and I'm surprised at how compressed we're getting it. So that being said, yeah, I'm guessing part 3 is going to have a new intro then, because again, thematically, there's so much different that changes at that point that it would be ridiculous to still just keep the same one. But yeah, more as I get through the season. But beyond that, I mean, you know, they have it down to a science as far as adaptation goes. Like they're just keeping it faithful and fast, and It's
Well, I
fucking
mean,
great.
adaptation down to a science is weird to say, considering, like, hey, how are they adapting it? What's the new trick? Well, they're taking what's on the panel and then they're going to put it on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, but as we can see, like that has led to many problems in the past because the act of doing that requires convincing a whole lot of people that like not fucking with what's on the page is a good idea. So,
But what if we fucked with it?
well, um, yeah,
What if Jotaro was a train? I would watch that. I would watch that in a second.
it just sometimes it's about not having the ending planned out and you got to do the best you can with what you have, like Full Metal Alchemist original. Other times it's just thanks for the source material, fuck off, creator. you know, and you go a completely different direction with it. But yeah, and I know, you know what?
What
Though
if Guts was a South Park character?
there will be more to talk about when we get to the news on that in a second, actually. So yeah, let's Rumbleverse, Stargazing, Jojo. The only other thing that I would mention is that so I feel that apropos of like online discussions about things like fighting games and
Fighting games.
and
Oh,
and
wow.
getting people into them and the troubles of being a beginning player. This week we had an episode of Get Into Fighting Games, the newcomers. I have done that at least twice in the past. The episodes are basically where I sit down with a friend who has been interested in checking out a fighting game but has never touched it. And, they either range in expertise from having never played them before at all to maybe one or two. And then we just kind of we do the onboarding process together. So this week, no, it wasn't Pro ZD, but I did get my friend Josh, who came over, and
Oh, wow.
he came over and he has had a little bit of experience playing some Strive, like a little bit, but mainly just like arcade mode and then out type of thing.
Just a smidge.
I'd say admirer of like the cool stuff in fighting games from a distance, from the outside. And he is a Dragon Ball fan, and he's never touched fighters. So I was like, hey, come on. It's a kind of, the 3v3 and the assists it's a lot to look at, but let's just get you in. Let's sit down, let's press some buttons and have fun with it.
I just want to point out what a perfect example because, hey, I like Dragon Ball, but also don't play fighting games is a enormous portion of the Venn diagram.
Absolutely. That's why I thought it would be a great episode. Also, there's and when I have played fighting games, I definitely was not able to handle like a 3v3 team-based assist thing because there's just too much going on. So it's been overwhelming for me anyway. That's a lot of people. So
I'm just thinking, DBZ just skips a bunch of the steps that you would usually go into, like learning any character. I don't have to tell you who fucking Vegeta is.
Mm-hmm. In terms of who he is.
Yeah, everybody know, who's that? Oh, it's Vegeta. Oh, it's Janemba. Oh.
Yeah. Now, so the thing is, what I can say is that, so we did the episode, and that'll be coming out shortly on Woolly Versus. But the stream was, it was great. We had a really good time, just kind of supplementing what the game tells you and what the game doesn't, and
there's a lot.
There's a lot. You can pick it and go to the tutorials and try to piece it together that way, and that'll get you a lot of information, but it'll also probably drown you in information, and then you won't necessarily know what matters and what doesn't, and then you're kind of if in his case, he's also using a stick pretty much for the first time, and just trying not to drown in the information. And that's where we kind of look at it and we went all right, here's how we're going to do this. Step 1, You like Dragon Ball? All right, before we even read anything, let's just head right to that training mode. Who's your favorite characters? Just grab them. Fuck it, right? And pick a couple favorites, and then just jump in, and then just start pressing buttons. Just go like, oh shit, Android 18 can do what? Oh cool, I can do this, and Vegeta can do the kick, and just mash. Just try stuff out and see what the game looks like, feels like, and moving around and seeing what it is. And you're like, okay, just getting a feel for how that goes. And then do a cool combo, and then see like a big Kamehameha. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's a cool thing. So it seems like I need a couple bars to do that, I guess. All right, well, anyway, I don't know how any of this works. So it's like, okay, cool. Well, now we can go take a look at like the tutorials, and we go through them, So they start off certainly as just like walking forward is holding forward, pressing up is jumping. And that's where everyone's like, yeah, I know, what else, right? And it's like, okay, here's your punch, and here's your medium, here's your heavy hit. It's like, sure, okay. And then it's like, and then here's your like beam specific or non-beam specific projectile parry. And then it's like, whoa, wait, what? And then you jump from things everyone can do that are the same controls as a Mario or Mega Man game into
to fighting game shit.
Oh, okay, wait, whoa. And like the in between is like, it just jumps you right across. Chasm. Yeah,
So like when you have tutorials, I'm just thinking of the DBZ one, but also Strive. It's like there's 10 pages, and it's like pages 1 through 4 are useless and have too much information, and then pages 6 through 10 are like nomenclatured out the fuck, and you like provide like, hey, did you manage to do it once? Great, you're good to go. And it's like, I forgot that as soon as I went to the next one.
It's a very difficult to, there's so many examples of this being done badly over the years, So what we kind of did was went through it. There's like 20 of them. They show you like, here's what all the basics are, and then here's all the unique Dragon Ball systems. And then I was like, cool. Now, by number 15 or so, it was definitely like, he was like, okay, this is getting a bit much. Like, I don't know that I'm going to remember all of these. And that's where I'm like, and you don't have to, nor should you, because that doesn't matter, right? All the point of getting to the end of that is like, when you see somebody like, do like a hand wave that knocks one of your fireballs away, it's not so that you can do this in the fight. It's just like, oh, you see that and you're just going to remember, oh yeah, I remember I saw a tutorial for that once, right? Or if you see someone go back and then start charging up their bar, or any, you're not necessarily thinking to like remembering to do that on your list, but it's like, oh yeah, right, this game has a rook in it. It has a bishop in it. Right, okay, cool. Yeah, I remember seeing that or whatever. Doesn't matter, right? So just right out of that introduction into just like, all right, let's cut that down to like 3 things. You've got your A combos that start with your light buttons. You just press light. You've got your B combos that are, medium, and then they end with a super. So if you have a bar you want to spend for a little extra damage, you can do that one. Then you got a super dash button to like fly in. And I just want you to just try working on dashing in and just getting those combos out,
It's a real bummer. The more that I think about it and the way that you're explaining it, I'm thinking of like, the way that DBZ would tutorialize you in its tutorial or Strive or with all that. It's like, well, let me think. How did I learn how to do Pythagorean theorem? Okay, well, I learned as a little baby how to multiply. And if somebody was showing me how to do Pythagoras, I would be... They go, well, first you have to multiply. Like, oh, yes, I know how to fucking multiply. And then they would have to teach me algebra, which is, well, the letter can mean any number, yada, yada. Fine. And then c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared divided by 2. I'm like, oh, okay. So now you got to teach me what squared is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, and that's enough because I have the pieces from before. But if you were to teach me that and then immediately throw down the quadrilateral formula for fucking finding the area of a trapezoid down at me immediately afterwards... Oh, did I fuck that up? Oh, but whatever. But anyway, you threw that at, I'd have no chance, especially if there was somebody next to me screaming in my face to solve it faster, or they would beat me up.
But let me stop you there, because furthermore, none of that is fun. That's not a fun series of things to do. And
yeah, people hate math.
If you want to have fun, which is why you're here, to pick Yamcha and see if you can do a Wolf Fang Fist, then that's what you should be doing. Who gives a fuck about the specifics of those details and the formulas and memorizing any of that? That sucks. We play games to have fun, man. So that's the bit where, like, okay, unless I immediately identify that you are, to use the Magic the Gathering terms, remember Timmy, Spike, and what was the other one?
Timmy or something?
Timmy, something, and Spike.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Timmy, Johnny, and
Johnny,
Spike. Yeah. So
wasn't there a fourth one which was like Grognor or something?
Well, the ones that Magic the Gathering uses is Timmy, Johnny,
Vorthos.
Okay.
That was it.
So, and if you've never heard these analogies before, the short version is that Timmy just plays for the hell of it, for the fun of it, likes to see a big thing, do a cool thing, and then win that way, and yay, that was fun. Johnny likes to go in depth and do things no one else is doing and win in his own way, stylishly. That's more important to him than just winning, period. And Spike cares about nothing but winning and playing competitively and will do anything that is like the best meta, right? So unless you come along to me and say, hey, I want to play this fighting game, and also I'm a Spike, I only care about the meta and all that shit, then I'm going to have to be like, okay, well, now you're going to have to memorize all this math and learn these formulas and learn this data.
Yeah.
But most people are not that.
Like, okay, good.
Most people are like, yo, Dragon Ball was a super sick anime. I remember watching it. Let's play this game and see what was cool.
I like Goku.
And so that's where I'm like, yeah.
After I play this, I'm going to go home and play Fortnite because it also has Goku.
So that's what it was. And it's like, okay, you see what all these things are so that you know what they are if you ever happen to... You don't go, what the fuck just happened? You'll just be like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that once, right? Okay, cool. Now let's just fucking have fun with it. Here's the fly button, and here's how you fly to your opponent, and here's how you hit them. And then when you're not doing that, like, try to block what they're doing, right? Play it like a Mega Man boss, Try to avoid what they're shooting at you. Try to get in there and try to hit them. And then if you can avoid the next time they attack you and, like, do your own combo on them, you're doing it good. And that's it, And then starting there, we kind of just had a really good time, like, getting a feel for the pace of rounds. And it's like, oh, there's like 3 people on screen right now. What's going on? It's like, yeah, like, and then it's like, okay, that is a lot. But like, you got to just kind of like look at your guy and like look at their guy and just kind of, that's what you're working on, just that for the moment. Don't worry too much about the other stuff you don't understand. I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, and we even did like a 1v1 to kind of like get used to just like what that.
You feed him into the fucking ground?
No. We didn't. He played against the CPU, just to like kind of get used to like, okay, these are what these 2 characters are doing, and when someone is on the ground, like you can't hit them right now, right? They got to get back up, and then you're gonna get another shot at them, or when you get knocked onto the ground, or when you're getting comboed, you can't keep attacking right now,
When are you gonna teach him the lesson of what it feels like to get your fucking ass beaten into the dirt and be ashamed and cry about it and you can't win?
Well, so you don't have to do that as the goal of the lesson. It can just be a byproduct of what we're doing while we're trying to have fun with the game, right? And this is what's important, because it's very easy to kind of get lost in the sauce and take those L's as like a personal failure, when I really
which they are.
And I really wish fighting games would be better at just being like, hey, like the goal of this next match is not to win, it's to land that combo, That's
loser shit.
Okay, well, anyway, so we had a pretty solid time getting that introduction out there, and then we did go online. And like, depending on whether or not things are going well, I might just be like, yeah, let's stay offline for now. But it went well enough that it was like, oh shit, no, let's go online, you know, and we did, and he managed to get some wins against, you know, like equal beginning opponents that were just trying for the first time, you know. So
You know, do you know
the
what
main
my
thing,
favorite part of this is? Is that like that's really great. That's a really good learning experience. And then I think back to like 4 years ago, I did the same idea stream with Clemps because he had never played a fighting game, but he also liked Dragon Ball.
mm-hmm.
But like to me, the pinnacle of that learning experience is when he matched up online against a Gohan player who was clearly a child. And like we were cheering as he beat this child up so bad as one of his first experiences that that child probably never played Dragon Ball ever again. And and how good that felt for him as a new player.
So that like the stomp that goes both ways, right? I mean, the thing about that is you want your game at best matchmaking to have you fight against people that feel like rivals. You want those fights to feel close, and then you want to barely eke it out if you do win. But it's such a mixed bag as to who's playing the game for the first time. There's no data on what kind of player you are or how good you are, and this applies to any multiplayer game. You don't
It's
know who you're
impossible to
sitting.
know if you're playing against somebody who's brand new or trash.
You know, you don't know who you're sitting next to, right? So when the match starts out and we start to see like the first match he plays online, and like all the stuff that was working against the CPU is like it's there, but now this one player is doing one thing different. It's playing just like the CPU did, but this human opponent is also blocking.
Oh my god.
You know, and he's like, so
Block. Ooh.
he flew in and he did a couple of swings and he's like, he's blocking. I wasn't ready for that. You know?
It's called a fighting game, not a blocking game.
Oh
You fucking
no.
loser.
Yeah, so that, you know, and so it's like just the introduction of blocking was enough to make it a tense fight that was like equally going back and forth, you know? But then he managed to eke it out and win and then like he had a set that like he had lost, and then I was like, okay, so like we're seeing it here, but like again the goal, so it's like then it was like, okay, so here what's happening here, win or lose doesn't matter because you still are learning. Just don't expect necessarily a win to happen, but let's see if you can land a level 3 in this match at some point. You know, you learned what the level 3 input was. It was Hadoken backwards and then this button. So try to find an opportunity to like land that, and that's going to be the mission accomplished, you know? And like, yeah, I tried and like whiffed it, got really close, you know, and it was really fun just kind of like picking that target mission while trying to survive in general, you know? Anyway, so I'm walking through the details of this, but go check it out when it comes out. And it was a really fun episode. And I mean, you know, in his words, it's just like, that was a way funner way to start playing this game than, you know, just going through what the game provides you with. And I'm like, yeah, if only we could like make this an experience that everybody has, you know. But it was great. It was a really it was a really helpful thing, and I really hope that like people can, you know, link to or look at this type of video in the future, in terms of like, you know, what getting in looks like, right? After all, I know that the name of the show doesn't always meet the needs of people who are like, I saw the name was getting into fighting games, and I thought that if I clicked on this would be a step-by-step tutorial on how to start at zero and get into a fighting game. And
no, many times the show is actually staying in with fighting games.
Sometimes,
like
yes.
Stay with fighting games because look at this cool thing.
So yeah.
Or look at this old crap.
But as I've said before, like there's a part of it that is also like, you know, the best way to get in is to really just like pick the cool thing and try to, you know, just have fun with the just picking the cool character and messing around and not worrying too much about the wins or the losses. We're just dicking around in the video game because like picking it up for the first time and then trying to figure out if you can properly execute the combo to completion in your online match as you're thrown in the deep end is just like the last thing you should be worried about, you know? But it does like make a lot of people nervous and then eventually bounce off when they're like, oh, I couldn't do what the game wanted me to do, which was memorize the long combo and then do it against the human opponent, you know? So anyway, the newcomers episode of Dragon Ball Fighters should be up soon. Yeah, please look forward to it. And if you are in the audience of people I'm describing that are like fans of Dragon Ball that, you know, are just not fighting game veterans, then give it a peep. See if it helps.
I do like Dragon Ball. I can't wait for that game to have its re-release and a whole new batch of people come in. Like, I feel like we've been talking about multiverses and Rumbleverse and Project L and all that, but like a DBFZ, fucking Dragon Ball Fighters with the good rollback is actually now in my mind like the most obvious pick for like the big one because it's got Goku.
It does. But 6 people doing giant beam attacks of various colors on the screen is a lot.
It's a lot.
You know?
It's a lot.
But what's cool about Dragon Ball, and this was also explained in that episode, is that each of those characters has a move list that's about 1/3 as long as it would be.
Oh, they're very basic.
In other fighting games, because the 3 of them combined together should equal 1 good character, right? So,
unless you're playing Cell, and then Cell's just fucking great.
Oh, I mean, some characters have tons of moves, but just in general. But yeah, so tune into that as well as Silent Hill 3 continuing over on Woolly Versus, and Mass Effect 2 will be back as well this week. Excuse me. Yeah, stuff's happening. It's pretty dope. Check it out. Schedule will be posted soon. Also, Woolly versus the Algorithm, going strong, going really well. Very happy with the reception and the content and how that's popping up every day. I schedule the videos for 10 in the morning, and it's been really fun waking up, checking to see like the what the fuck reactions of every day's video as they come out, because you know we're doing things. We're shouting out elder abuse in the titles of our videos, or
yes,
yeah, or and you know of you know, or the top 10 Dokapon betrayals and things like that. Every time I jump in, there's like just people baffled because they're like, this subject matter is not how you beat the algorithm, Wooly. And I'm like, you'd think.
I mean,
you'd think.
Well, I can tell you for a fact the Disco Elysium Elder Abuse one was of note to me, because despite being subscribed to both of your channels, it's the first one to have pinged on my phone.
Wow.
Ever. Literally ever.
As in like a notification popped?
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, I have a new notification on my phone. What's that? Oh, Disco Elysium Elder Abuse. Oh, and there's mods from the gods on it as well. So whatever
it's working.
It's happening over there. It's working. Showing up in my notifications bar, which the other channel doesn't.
Yep.
Period.
Ever. Yep. It's actually working. That's the proof in the pudding right there. That never happens normally. Awesome. So check out Wooly versus the Algorithm.
When's Wooly versus the Algorithm Race Wars?
Oh, well, the Race Wars series is already on the main channel.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's when we play racing games.
Yeah.
However, you can look forward to some of those React stream clips as well coming to Wooly versus the Algorithm too. That's where they're going to be going. So, if you are, looking for some of the best moments from that stuff, they're going to be on the second channel. That's it. That's about me.
All right. Let's see. What have I been doing with this week? Well, I'm going to start with something a little different. Paige has a big old list of movies that I'm to go through. Uh, One of those movies a few weeks ago was Murder on the Orient Express. I love a murder mystery. Unshockingly, I liked it. This week's entry was the adaptation of the cult classic musical Mamma Mia, starring Meryl Streep, Pierce Brosnan, and Amanda Seyfried.
Wow.
Have you seen Mamma Mia?
No. I know next to nothing about Mamma Mia except that it does exist and that there's an exclamation mark at the in the title.
Mamma Mia is fucking nuts. It is absolutely fucking crazy. It is it is it is the Commando of women's movies.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie being the most aggro, macho bullshit that you could imagine, Mamma Mia is, hey, I'm a white woman. Do you know what I love? ABBA. That's right. You know what else I love? Being in Greece. And old guys that are hot. But also wedding drama. The plot of Mamma Mia is so stupid, but it is a pure vehicle for nonsensical drama. All right.
Can I just say that not only have I not seen Mamma Mia, but I am struggling to think of someone in my life who would have even brought it to the table. And there is
Glass Punch Bomb.
that's she has absolutely hasn't. Definitely
Okay.
hasn't. There's no one even I don't know anyone peripherally that would even bring that up to me. It's
Okay.
so
Well,
outside.
all right. So, you know the band ABBA?
I know ABBA, yes.
Okay. So, at some point someone decided to make a musical because they wanted to have an excuse to just do like an entire album's worth of ABBA songs in a musical format. They want to do Disco Queen, they want to do Super Trooper, they want to do Mamma Mia, etc. So, here's the plot of Mamma Mia. Well, I, Amanda Seyfried, my wedding's tomorrow, and it's so amazing, and we're in Greece, and it's gonna be so perfect, except, sorry, Dancing Queen. I don't know what's wrong with my words today. The wedding's gonna be so perfect, and my mom is Meryl Streep, and she's so cool, and she runs this hotel all by herself in picturesque, beautiful Greece. And my wedding's tomorrow, but my dad isn't in my life, and I never knew who he was. Well, luckily for me, I went snooping through my mom's old diary and found out that 20 years ago, she had a summer affair with three completely different guys unprotected, and any of them could be my dad. And they all happen to be they all happen to be portrayed by famous actors like Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth, and Bill Skarsgård.
So is this an autobiography of Liv Tyler?
No.
Okay.
So, I want my dad to walk me down the aisle. Clearly, there's only one solution. I'm going to invite all three potential dads to the island and just figure it out from there. I'm sure there won't be any drama or hijinks along the way. Hijinks and drama ensue.
Okay.
Because I'll just know my dad when I see him. And it is fucking silly. It is this girl who is about to tank her own wedding over the most emotionally manipulative, damaging fucking thing I've ever seen in a movie. But we're singing ABBA.
Does
And it'll
anyone
all work out in the end.
are there any does anyone like dance with their eyes closed holding a wine glass?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot.
Perfect. Oh yeah, perfect.
Wooly, Wooly, we've talked in the past about the veil between the real world and the musical dimension.
Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, this movie takes place in the veil entirely. Okay, you've got weird hard zooms. You've got weird dreamlike pans. You've got, in some cases, literally two lines of dialogue in between different songs. Like, fuck it, no, we're gonna put another
We're
fucking
just going
song in
we're
there.
going right back
Fuck
in.
it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
my personal favorite, to anyone who's seen the movie, I forget the name of it, but near the end of the movie, Meryl Streep sings a song to Pierce Brosnan, and it's clearly, we had the song and we wanted the song in the play slash movie, but we don't have anywhere to put the song. So we're just gonna. It's no, it's not Waterloo. It's the winner takes it all, the loser has to fall. That one from ABBA, and she's just singing it to Pierce Brosnan, and it doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. And Pierce Brosnan doesn't know what to do in the scene, so he's just kind of like standing there going, I don't know. I don't know what's happening in this scene. It doesn't make any sense at all. Um
This sounds a lot like, well, this sounds very similar to Across the Universe, the Beatles plot movie, where all the songs
Maybe.
are Beatles songs, and
Yeah.
they're like doing life covers of moments from
Yeah,
different
except
Beatles
this is
albums.
a fictional thing. Also, I've discovered that Pierce Brosnan sings like shit. I am unironically a much better singer than Pierce Brosnan.
Oh
He
well,
is
he's
terrible.
yeah, but he's handsome, old, and British. He's
Yeah, but
his his
like
role in life
he's
is
given
not.
like songs to sing in a musical.
Uh, um, yeah,
Um
okay. It sounds very similar vibes to yeah. I've seen which Across the Universe, which I have seen. Okay.
it's a fucking strange movie. It is a movie for your white mom. It is intense and bizarre and takes place in a like it takes place in like some kind of hyperfiction. It's very strange. It's a lot of fun. And all I know about the sequel, which there is a sequel, is that Cher is there, which seems appropriate.
Is it ABBA music playing, or it's people singing ABBA songs?
It's people singing ABBA
ABBA songs. Yeah.
songs.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah.
However, occasionally they will segue into a pseudo reality
Mm-hmm.
in which it's like ABBA's not there,
Mm-hmm.
but she might be. Maybe. It takes place in that reality in which when you're really emotional, a bunch of people will show up behind you
Yeah.
to to act out your emotions.
No. Totally. Totally. So exactly. And I'm one of the analogs I'm remembering is like main character Jude is gonna sign up for the military, and then Uncle Sam pops out and starts singing I want you so bad it's driving me mad," and
Yeah.
then after that,
That's a weird tone for Uncle Sam.
yeah, but he's singing the "I want you" as in the poster, and then it transitions into "She's so heavy," and it shows you soldiers carrying the Statue of Liberty through Vietnam as
Oh,
explosions are around them because
okay.
she's so heavy, you know. So
But yeah, no, it's actually really fun, but it is this weird thing in which it's like, haha, we're crazy. And it's like, I'm sitting here going like, you invited three random guys, two of which are guaranteed to not be your parent, to a wedding out in the middle of Greece, telling them that they were your parent. and you're like, I'm just gonna figure it out. I didn't even tell my mom. This is the most emotionally damaging thing I've ever done in my whole life. My wedding's tomorrow. Much like Rent,
Mm-hmm.
musicals often have main characters that
Mm-hmm.
are fucking psychos,
Mm-hmm.
but the story does not portray them as a fucking psycho. It portrays them as, oh man,
How runny?
uh,
How runny does the mascara get?
not really.
No. Oh, okay.
It's a very upbeat film
Okay.
that's incredibly optimistic. Like every like really optimistic. Like probably the most optimistic thing I've seen in a long time. Which is kind of nice.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're in any way interested in ABBA, yeah, go ahead and go watch fucking Mamma Mia. And Paige asked me if I could intuit the name of its sequel without knowing literally a single thing about the Mamma Mia sequel other than it was a sequel. And because it's so basic and on point, I was able to correctly deduce its subtitle instantly.
Papa Pia.
Okay, to the person in the chat, blue sub Redman, got it immediately. There you go. You're all geniuses. It's Here We Go Again
Okay.
because that's the line in the song.
Right.
You get it? All right. Yeah. So that was weird, but good.
I mainly know Dancing Queen, but
Yeah.
okay.
That's also what I mainly know of ABBA, but I'm pseudo familiar with the rest of the catalog. I'm just thinking like there's some '80s outfits at some point in that movie. It doesn't take place in the '80s; it takes place in the aughts. Man, the '80s was terrible. Or was it '60s?
A lot of
I can't
bad.
remember.
Couple of cool things, but a whole lot of
Yeah.
bad. A whole lot of bad. If you weren't
All right, we're
pseudo synthwave or just coming out of that energy or
Yeah.
like Mad Max energy, then like you were probably terrible.
probably. All right, moving on. Away from Mamma Mia to something completely different. Gloomwood came out this week. Gloomwood being the New Blood ImSim.
Mm-hmm.
That's immersive sim.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who
I
don't
am
know, which
Sim.
is a fucking, that's
Mm-hmm.
good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's excellent. It's absolutely fucking great. It is taking after Thief primarily in terms of sneaking around and in like inhabiting like a large space.
Not Thiaf.
But yeah, not the F.
Okay.
There are no plans to plan around the game in terms of a pacifist route. When you see an enemy, you can avoid them or maybe kill them. There's no playing around with this. Maybe you can beat the whole game without killing anybody. Like fucking stupid nonsense that so many of those games have become like tainted by. It controls really well. It looks really cool. It has really well designed levels. It has a cool progression of items. It has a cool aesthetic. It's really cool. It only has one problem, and that is in its early access form, it is laughably short. It is like 2 hours.
I mean, is it like meant to be the first level or two?
It's meant to be the first, I think, level and a half or 2 levels.
Okay.
The only part about it that's like I get it. It's day one of a early access game, and New Blood tends to slow cook theirs. The main thing that's like a real bummer is that on the store page it has like explore a massive city that's custom created and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and the early access build doesn't have anything on that page. It has like the factory level and it has the caves, and then you go to get into the city where the game would start proper, and it goes, "Thanks for playing the early access build." I'm like, because the I thought the early access store page was implying that the city was there, but it's not.
So
Bummer.
it's not out. It's
Oh, it is. It is early access,
yeah, okay.
and much like the way Ultra Kill has been put out, every time there's going to be a extremely large addition of content. Like in Ultra Kill's case, there'd be a new act. I think a week later, it gets a price hike to eventually be at whatever its full price is. Like, I don't know what Dusk costs right now, but
Gloomwood is $20.
yeah, right now. But yeah, it's absolutely excellent.
I see an
Like if
attaché
you
case.
oh yeah, no, the inventory is just a straight up attaché case because.
Good, good, good.
So yeah, Gloomwood's great. If you're interested in Sims or New Blood's output, grab it now. It'll be cheaper now than it is later. It will clearly be very good, but I bet it'll take a long time. In particular, there's a like big set piece event that I was about to walk into until I hit a door that said not available in early access. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer.
It's funny how New Blood games are like not made by the same people, but they still have an art style as a publisher.
Well, yeah, it's boomer shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, boomer shooter. Yeah, you know. Right,
Like, hey, do
exactly.
you kids like Quake? One?
Specifically the era that is Quake 1 and or
Unreal.
yeah, Unreal. You know, nothing earlier, not Wolfenstein, we're not doing Doom, not too far
Maybe,
ahead.
maybe Alien
Not
versus Predator,
maybe
the
some
first
Quake
one.
maybe Quake Arena, maybe, but like that might be too
Yeah,
good looking.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No,
Mhm.
proper booming and shooting. Yeah, excellent. Can't recommend enough. Even in its current state, just be aware that it is extremely short. Let's see what else. I went through more of Prey and discovered something that I didn't know about Prey. As an sim. First of all, I discovered that the
Keep
immersive.
pushing it. Keep pushing it.
It's not got. It's you worked on Deus Ex and Thief. Why do I have to have this argument with you? I'm fine, thank you. Anyway, um, what I discovered for Prey 2017 is that there's a fairly clear objective that says go to the Arboretum
Mhm.
very early in the game, and I wanted to see just how much of it I could complete before going to the Arboretum. And the answer is like 60 or 70% of the game. Like an absolutely
Hmm.
enormous proportion of the game before the game's like first real objective.
Interesting. Okay. You don't get
Um,
gated.
no, as a combination of opening doors, maintenance hatches, climbing up into places you're not supposed to be, you can just go all over that fucking place before you're supposed to. I was able to unlock airlocks that would be shortcuts later in areas that I'm not supposed to be at for hours and hours.
But is it a series of missions or is it a large open environment with like one
It's a
goal?
large open environment, but the large open environment will give you Dead Space like tasks, which will, hey, you need to get the Arboretum to unlock the elevator back down to the lobby so you can go to such and such and run into so and so. But if I said, I don't know, went to everywhere except the Arboretum and opened up all the airlocks along the way, yada yada, I can do that. The only rooms that are absolutely 100% gated are part of the critical path. So the power reactor is gated until you get critical path over there, and the deep storage archives are gated until you do the story thing that gets you there. But prior to that, you can just wander around all over the place, which led to a situation in which that game has a nemesis-like monster that shows up that chases you. That's super gigantic, super strong. Um, but it shows up when you walk through a specific door in the Arboretum for the first time. So I met it and just shot it dead the first time I ever saw it because I had played for like 6 hours before triggering me meeting it. And so now that thing is a joke. And now that thing is free resources. Every time I see it, I go, sick, cool, and I kill it to get its guts.
Oh, it keeps coming back. Okay, it's a shakedown.
Yeah.
So
The way that it works
it's not
is
a.
that
It's not
if
a.
you
Go ahead.
yeah, it shows up every 30 minutes if you kill it, and every 20 minutes if you run from it.
Okay, because I was
So
like, not quite a Mr. X, more like a more like a Mr. Shakedown kind of thing.
yeah, no, it will come back, but by the time I met it the first time, I had spent so long exploring everywhere on the station that I literally like jumped at it and shot it 6 times and it died. It had no chance.
Okay.
Absolutely no chance. The main thing for that is that if you look hard enough in that game, you discover a method of manufacturing your own skill points.
What does that mean?
It means the in-game there's an item called a neuromod, and that is your skill point. But they are items within the world. Like you pick up 2 neuromods, and then you go, oh, I'll go to the skill tree, and this extra health takes 2 neuromods, or hacking 3 takes 6 neuromods. But if you scrape around enough, you discover a production license to manufacture them yourself in the game's crafting system.
Okay.
And once that happens, I've made hundreds.
Yeah.
I've hundreds and hundreds. I have like multiple skill trees just completely maxed out.
Sick.
It's great. It has a great use of player agency in that game. That game is great. Prey 2017 is great. It is my number one recommend if you wanted to play an immersive sim to start playing Prey 2017. It is the best. It is fucking great.
Can't be understated how good it feels to reward player with like an item that will serve a purpose and make your character stronger, so that even in excess, if you collect too many of them, you can just power the fuck up.
Yeah.
Love that.
This is a story, I don't know if I've ever said it, but like I want to point out like just how smart the design in Prey is. The coolest weapon in Prey 2017 is a Nerf gun.
Okay.
And I don't mean it is a Nerf crossbow that fires tiny little plastic darts that don't do any damage at all. And it is by far the most interesting weapon in the game.
Do things react to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can use it to shoot computer consoles through security holes, where you'd put your ID through. You can use them to shoot computer consoles to unlock the rooms they're in. You can bounce them off walls to hit manual release levers.
Wow.
You can use them to distract enemies by bouncing them off of objects in the environment till they fall over. But my personal favorite is there is a bomb in the game called a recycling charge, and what it does is it turns items in the environment into materials you can use. The problem of which is that it does that to humans and enemies as well, so if you're too close to a recycling charge, it can kill you. But what you can do is plant it on a wall, back up to max distance, and then just ping it with your Nerf gun, and then it will go off at your leisure, which you can then use to destroy blockades for impassable areas or get into places that you wouldn't otherwise be supposed to. It's great. It's so fucking great. It's great.
Nice.
Prey is great. So what's not great is that to roll it all the way back is that it's a good week for potatoes. So originally I had mentioned that prior, which was congratulations to the Irish, what with the dead queen and all. Good for them. I saw many TikToks of the Irish celebrating. In particular, a Irish tap dancing group tap dancing in front of Buckingham Palace to the beat of Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. Good for them. What's not great about potatoes is that it is a pejorative name for the little tiny Lalafell characters in the Final Fantasy XIV. The little tiny people that look like toddlers.
Oh, and just before we get off that, I think the best meme I saw was Meghan Merkel as she approaches the coffin, and it's just a clip of Undertaker in the coffin, waking up and choking the shit out of Orton, and then like rolling his eyes back in his head, and then throwing him in the coffin himself.
So the best one that I saw was a article that was describing how Meghan Markle was to travel to Buckingham Palace to receive the prestigious honor of being the recipient of the classical Final Slur, the final racial slur uttered by the dying member of the monarchy. And that of special historical note is that Meghan Markle would have been the first non-Irish recipient of the Final Slur.
I see.
It's great. It's great. I love it. So I was doing one of them darn React streams where you look at the content, and one gentleman in my chat, one Ligma Lominsa, Final Fantasy XIV player, and I'm going to say professional shit poster in my chat because all they ever post is like complete trash, surmised, hey Pat, how many subs, oh he's right there, great, fuck off bitch, surmised, hey Pat, how many subs would it take for you to play as a Lalafell in your Final Fantasy XIV game? To which I made the mistake of lowballing at 500. Which was immediately met. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
A little bit of screaming and a little bit of hemming and hawing and a bunch of very generous, crazy people later, during September, of course. I am now stuck playing a potato person for about 9 more months.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
So you've played as every job.
Yes.
And that also I would have assumed as multiple races as well. I would have assumed
I've played
covered
the big row guys, I've played the regular human looking guys, I've played the bunny people, etc., but never the potato.
So you didn't cover it all then?
No. I think the most upsetting part of it is that one particular gentleman named Lorcan was responsible for maybe a third of total gift subs, and when I asked them, all right, dude, which of the potatoes do you want? He responded with, I don't know, I don't even play FF14. Which, it's like, oh, so it's all spite. It's all spite.
You gotta respect that. That's a sniper scope targeted approach. I respect the hustle. Spite.
So what I did is I changed my character's name to Pat Tatoes.
Yeah, you did.
And I have my old name on an alt so that it can stay there.
Mm-hmm.
I have had my wife and all of my Discord pals and raid gang swear that they will snitch on me in a second if I were to switch back or use some kind of mods or tomfoolery to not play as a potato.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing as a potato for a week, and a couple weird things happened as a result of that. One, in making my character, I discovered the tiny little guys with mustaches look just like my dad. also a small guy with a mustache. Weird. Really weird. The other thing that happened, and this is a little more concerning, but I figured it out, is that the character is so much smaller that when I was playing harder content and zoomed all the way out, I had to turn like indicators back on because I literally could not see my character. Just couldn't even see them at all. I usually play without name tags above characters' names. I had to turn them back on because I literally had no idea where the fuck I was.
What's that race called again?
Lalafell.
Kickables?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Kickables. Yeah.
All right, got it.
Absolutely. So that sucks. It's not ruinous, but it is consistently painful.
Look, if it isn't the results of my own actions.
The consequences of my own actions. That's right. Yes. I will probably not make this mistake again.
Fuck yeah, this is awesome. Me reaping. God damn it, this sucks.
Man. Oh, no. So, yes, mad because small, jealous of tall. I know. So I was not aware, but apparently it's been a long-running thing to trap FF14 streamers in this exact snare.
And
which is, I don't want to play a potato.
And you can't
well, what about...
You can't even drop a snarky, you don't pay my sub.
I literally can't.
You cannot.
I literally can't. No, I can't. Somebody pointed out, and I should mention it, the worst part about it, by far, the worst part about it, is that Lalafells are objectively easier to play in harder content.
The hitboxes are smaller?
No. In FF14, your character has a 1 pixel wide hitbox.
Okay, shmup rules.
The difference is Lalafells are way, way closer to adequately displaying the size of that hitbox than the much larger ones. See, with the Lalafell, if you're looking straight down, the hitbox is dead center of their head.
You can eyeball it better. Yeah.
For all of the larger races, it's somewhere between their fucking feet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, look, as far as I know, Min has been playing one forever, and you know, he had some cool armor. They made some cool potato armor that I saw.
No, they didn't.
Okay, well,
wearing armor now is a joke. It doesn't matter what I'm wearing because I can't see it. I literally can't see it. The fucking character is like smaller than my fucking thumb on my screen. I can't, like, I might as well be wearing the fucking default gear. It doesn't even matter.
Are there any smaller than human races that are not Lalafell?
In that game, no.
No, okay. It's only larger or human and then potato.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you have your potatoes, then you have your humans, and then you have your cat people, your dragon people, your cat people, and your bunny people. Oh, I guess your dog people also, but still. Yeah, so that's awful. But I'm learning to live with it. I'll be blunt, if there was no mustache option for these things, this would be way worse. But the fact that I can put like a big dumb mustache on one of them, like a good old like broom handle mustache, like I'll live with it.
You know what else you'll live with? Manage.
What's that?
500 subs. Shut the fuck up.
No, it's actually 1,000.
Okay. Shut the fuck up.
No, but you don't get it. You don't get it, man. That's the game I play when I want to relax, and now I'm looking at Potato every day. I was looking at Potato earlier.
Don't don't fuck around with the shit you care about, and these animals.
Yeah, no, they're
don't
freaks.
do it.
They're all crazy. Um, the only other thing I want to talk about for 14 is
Okay,
something
Wooly,
that
how much for you to switch to fucking what? I don't know, as your main.
don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud. don't like literally don't say it out loud.
It doesn't matter
Like
because the answer is nothing.
Don't say a name.
The answer is nothing. I ain't doing it. It's for me.
The only other thing I want to talk about 14 is that there's a very weird piece of drama happening right now in that game that is relatively new to it, about balancing. So, in a fighting game, a 5% change in effectiveness between like the top and bottom tier would be great, right? Like the top tier is 5% stronger than the bottom tier. Fucking sick.
Yeah, that would be very
Right?
tight.
That'd be. Here's the problem. They put out the new raid series, and the top tiers are like 6-7% stronger than the bottom tiers. So like Machinist is terrible compared to Dancer, right? Which fill the same role. So you take only one with you in a group. They tuned the new encounters too tight, and it was discovered that certain classes can't beat them. So like the raid came out, and it turns out the final boss of the final tier, when it came out, was just not clearable by this class, and this class until the next week or the week after or the week after you gear up, which screwed up all the world first people. World first people went in with their groups and discovered, oh, cool, we don't have a summoner. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There were instances of guys raiding for like 16 hours and doing like the absolute perfect sequence, and it's not possible, only to switch to a different like tank from like Paladin to Gunbreaker and immediately clear it.
I don't understand.
All right.
I thought that like everything I've heard about raids in these games has been you have to bring in these particular things, and you have to bring in these classes, and if you don't have the requirements, you're not going to be able to beat the thing.
All right, so I'll break it down simply. So every encounter is on a timer. The boss is going to perform a series of actions in a list, and then at the end of that list, they're going to cause what's called an enrage, which is they're just going to kill you unless you've depleted their health to 0, right? So it's always a race with the boss's health. Do all your mechanics while also doing as much damage as possible so that hopefully you finish early before enrage. Usually, DPS checks have not been so stringent that job composition becomes vital. You always need 2 tanks, you always need a shield healer and a regen healer, you always need 2 melee, 1 ranged, and 1 magic. But within that combination of roles, you can traditionally use whatever you want. You could go Warrior Paladin or Gunbreaker, Dark Knight for your tanks. So you could go for your range spot. You could go Machinist or Archer, Machinist or Bard or Dancer.
Right. Okay. If you're playing Overwatch and you're doing like dive comp, as long as you have the roles fulfilled, with the right. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. The issue that happened is it's discovered that Machinist is doing 92% of the damage Dancer did. And normally that's not the end of the world, except the encounter is tuned so tight that minor percentage change means the difference between it being mathematically possible to clear or not. There's just no way that this class combined with this other one can. So it's led to the knock-on effect, which is the real problem, which is even now, so now it's a couple weeks later, so people are gearing up, so that impossibility is gone. But it was discovered, oh, well, Ninja's the best melee DPS, and Summoner's the best magic DPS. So now those slots are mandatorily Ninja and Summoner. Are you coming in with a Reaper or a Machinist? Get out. It has weird knock-on social effects.
My old roommate who played a lot of World of Warcraft would always talk about raids in exactly this way, so I thought that was standard for FF14 as well.
No, it's not. That was one of the things that FF14 was usually really good about, because people traditionally would rather play the character, class, or job that they like than the one that they're playing for the best numbers. We're back to the magic analogy between Spike and Johnny.
Right.
And the issue is that there's going to be a super fucked up mega raid coming in a couple months, and people are already going and looking like, well, I want to play Paladin, but if I want to do Ultimate, I can't. I just won't be able to because the numbers aren't there. And it sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a fighting game analogy that would work other than...
No, I understand. It's like you are, like, again, the Overwatch situation, it's like you don't just need like 3 tanks or 2 tanks. You must have a Reinhardt, you know?
Yeah.
And you must have
why
a
would you
Winston
pick not Reinhardt?
or whatever. Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't really like playing Reinhardt. Well, you will lose.
You must
if you don't pick Reinhardt. Yeah, it sucks. So here's hoping they will adjust those jobs, because it's a bummer. Like, especially since, and this is the one that hurts me the most, the new class that they put out, the new melee, the Reaper class that has the big scythe, is like the worst of its own archetype, despite being the new one that people hopped in on because it was cool and popular.
And this game's too big to have like a test server to see how things balance out.
No, they absolutely strongly fight any suggestion of a test server. Because
the PTR is also what I think of. You can avoid the worst problems by letting people touch it and, you know, see how it goes.
Yeah, but the PTR only works when you have a situation in which you don't care about anyone finding out or spoiling the story.
Sure.
And the other thing is that they actually intentionally delay a lot of the harder content coming out after the patches because they don't want people rushing through shit so that they're ready for the hard content. Like, it used to be Savage would come out immediately, and it's like, oh, great, time to burn through the patch as fast as I possibly can to gear up so I can join the world first race.
Oh, people hate PTRs? Really? Oh, interesting. Why? I thought that people would like.
So I'm not personally
getting a
familiar. I never really hung out on WoW's PTR. I'm not really sure what the actual issue there is.
I remember when I was playing Overwatch that the PTR would be like, oh yeah, you want to go try out Doomfist before he comes out? You can jump over there, see what's going on.
It's what I thought. It's spoilers.
Try out. Yeah, spoilers. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, people who don't like. I would not be personally interested.
So not
in
gameplay balance stuff, but right. Yeah. All right, fair enough.
I would not be personally interested in playing on a PTR because I don't want my character in an MMO to bug out. Like, that would be worrying to me. But also, I would feel like I would have to because I wouldn't want to get spoiled on new content or story content or what have you.
One of the coolest things was Skullgirls had its own playtest server, and there was a final build for release on Steam, and then there was the like demo backer build where you can essentially get access to early, characters that are being tuned, and like you could feel anyone that was about to come out. Like Big Band would get there early, and anyone that was in the middle of being built, you could see where they're at and how things feel before they go live.
Yeah, no, there's like,
in a spoilerless context, it's pretty cool.
14 does it really strange in that they'll put out preliminary patch notes like the weekend before a patch, but job changes, like actual effectiveness changes, are literally hidden until the game is offline. Uh, and it feels like that's to cut down on people screaming about how the changes suck before they can actually get a hold of them.
Okay. I guess it. Okay.
Also, data mining gets real weird when you have a public test realm.
Yeah. So in genres where spoilers don't matter, perhaps
Oh yeah, no, it's who gives like a fighting game. Yeah, fuck it. Like
it's
let's
just
play with a new build every day.
it's data for the players. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and for something like Dead by Daylight, it's actually extremely helpful because you'll get a new killer or a new survivor and go, yeah, no, this thing fucking sucks. You got to fix this before you sell it because otherwise, like there have been killers that came out on Dead by Daylight's public test build, and like you're playing them and you're like, wow, this shit is terrible. Like you got to fix it. Damn. And then they kind of fix it, but not really. And you go, oh, cool, good thing you had the PTR so that we got only a kind of bad version of this character.
Oh yeah, For Honor did one too.
Yeah, I did.
Sick. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
The main thing about FF14 job stuff in terms of like, oh, people are unhappy with job balance, and you're like, that's a pretty weak sauce complaint about an MMO or fighting game because well they'll change it and they'll patch it. Some of those changes in 14 can take over a year to be implemented. Like some of the one, like if a class comes out and is just complete garbage, they'll hop on it in a month. But like I was like there was in Stormblood, people didn't like Dark Knight, and they're like, well, we'll fix it on the next expansion. You're like, bro, we're like 3 months in. And they've recently said that with Dragoon and Astrologian. They're like, well, we know that people are not happy where Dragoon and Astrologian are at right now. We will be giving them a rework in 18 months.
That's so like what a unique weird game, man. Like there's so few other games in company like that have been running for just generations and will just continue that way. Like FF14 gets to have a conversation with EVE Online about these types of things, and like that's
weird
about
social
it,
dynamic.
And
you know what? I will say one thing. As mad as I was about Dark Knight and Monk in Stormblood and how long it would take, that's still better than when I played WoW back in 2005 and every single patch would completely invert the game's balance.
Too high, too low.
Every single time, I'd be like, man, don't even bother playing a Warlock, man. Warlocks are trash. Fuck off, all Warlocks for this tier. They're the best. Why bring anything else? Right back to, man, Warlocks are trash again. Don't even play them. Within like a 6-month span. And it's like, it takes me more than 6 months to hit level cap. Wait, that's still happening? I'm talking about 2005. That was 17 years ago. How is that still How is it still like that?
I want to say, I think a couple of NetherRealm games overcorrected and undercorrected their patches like within the span of a couple months, and like a lot, and stuff like that kind of leads players to being like, well, like at least like competitive players to being like, what is the patch frequency of this game? If it's too much, then fuck it, I don't want to play. That kind of has become a discussion.
League of Legends is that.
Yeah, too many patches too often, and like competitive side gets frustrated with that.
Yeah,
shit,
I've seen. You haven't let it sit. I've seen 2 video documentaries from different years from different guys that were like, I fucking can't play League of Legends anymore because I'm good enough to want to be competitive, and I literally cannot keep up with the balance changes. Like they're rebalancing like 40% of a cast of 150 characters like every 2 months, and I can't keep them in my fucking head.
Yeah, like a game getting touched, I mean, it shows you care if you're staying in on it, but like you do have, there is a point where you do have to
Wait,
kind of
every
like,
2 weeks? League of
oh
Legends gets
my
a patch every 2
god,
weeks?
oh my god, that's insane. Yeah, that's
That's too
insane.
much.
That's beyond
That's
insane.
too much. You
I
can't
don't.
do that.
No, that wouldn't be that. That's not fun to me. Like, you would
That's
need.
wild.
Like, I understand if things are updating frequently in the initial release phases of a game. So launch, and then you go like, oh, let's say with each DLC character, or like each month we get like one, and then like what you want ideally is for that patch frequency to start frequent and then stagger off, until eventually it's like minor things here and there as you approach something that you're satisfied with. Unless a major thing happens, like a new feature gets implemented, in which case, yeah, it's warranted to like readjust. But if you stay with that hot frequency, like if that's what League is doing, that's fucking annoying.
No.
14 days of meta. 14
That's
days.
too much.
Yeah.
Like, it takes you over a week just to read and internalize the changes, depending on what there is. I don't think I'll ever be able to get this story in anywhere otherwise, because we're talking about FF14 job changes. But it has a unique type of buff in patch notes that I've never seen in any other game in my life, which is the expansion will come out, and they'll put out the oh, here's your new moves and all that stuff. And then the 0.1 patch, the first big patch, will go, hey, we're adjusting some of the numbers. We feel like Bard is doing too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove 20 off of this move, right? We're going to move 20 potency off of this move, and we think that it's good. And then people will complain for 6 months that Bard sucks. And then the devs will come back and go, well, we've thought long and hard about it, and we've decided to give Bard a suite of buffs. And what we're going to do is we're going to buff this move by about 20 potency. So we hope that you're really happy with the buffs that Bard has received. And it's literally just unnerfing them. There's a healing class called Scholar that has lost a move called Energy Drain and had it given back to itself in a later patch twice. Where they go, you don't need Energy Drain anymore. And then the expansion comes out and people go, where the fuck is Energy Drain? I need that. And they go, we've thought about the synergy in Scholar, and we're going to be re-implementing Energy Drain as a buff. And it's like, fucking stop taking it out.
So the funniest recent thing, I think I might have brought it up like maybe a week or two ago, but the funniest patch recently, fighting game wise, was DNF Duel got a 1-page list where Swiftmaster, the wind elf kid,
the wind asshole
had
with the
everything knocked back, everything made more expensive, and then like one thing about Hitman, like his DP like awakening got touched, and Striker, one thing about Striker, and that's it. And it was just like, there you go. And at the bottom it just says, thank you for your continued patronage for playing this game, or whatever. It's just like the most, just like everyone was just panicking, like, oh god. I'm like, all right, Crusader's dead, they're gonna take the wall away. They realized everyone, like launcher players are bending the knee, everyone's just getting all like, here it comes, and then nothing. Fuck you, you're cool, see you later. It was wild.
They looked at almost everybody in that game and said, we think this is appropriate.
Yeah, no, they're like, this is exactly what we like, but fuck that guy though. See you next year. It was crazy. There's a level of respect to that when every other fighting game has been like, here's a 15-page PDF, scroll for a while to find your character, and like, zoom in on the list to find the one move you want to know what happened to it. It becomes a huge roundtable discussion on every major fighting game channel and things like that. And DNF is just like, yeah, here's that. This is it. Leave us alone. You know.
I think it's fascinating that, like, we've talked a lot about patches on this podcast. I think that, I don't know. I remember listening to a bunch of other gaming podcasts back in the day, and like nobody seemed to be as in love with reading patch notes as you or I. I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite things is to find out what's changed. But over time, I've come to the conclusion that, like, yeah, patches and big patches and changes are fun, but 2 weeks is way too fucking fast, and nobody wants wild swings of like all the way at the top to all the way at the bottom.
I come from a world where once a year was way too much because people have been playing Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo for most of my life, you know?
Yeah.
And people discovered new tech with Fei Long 3 years ago. So don't touch the game like this is what it is. The idea of these updates was for that genre was just like you leave it alone. Your game gets touched when it goes from arcade to home console, and then maybe into a special edition with all characters included, and then you leave it alone. You know, so watching us go from that to a regular patch route into like, okay, no, NRS is doing it way too often, has been very, very odd, you know. But I don't know how it's been with other genres, you know. Have MMOs and games like WoW and League over the years, like, have they just done it like every time there's an expansion, you know, or like how did they kind of come to their eventual settled pace? Because each fighting game, at the very least, is gonna feel it out according to, I guess, like DLC will determine the schedule of how.
Yeah, or is it the next release of the game? Like, is it super? Is that going to be the patch?
I gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah, me too. Let's take a break.
BRB. Okay. Something I actually was gonna mention earlier, and I forgot, and I just remembered. Um, One of the tragedies of 13 Sentinels has been
You can't talk about it.
you can't fucking talk about it. It's so good. It's so goddamn good. And every time you bring it up, it's like, I can't tell you why, but you should just go play it.
I like the part where that big thing happened outside the window. Is the
And
most that I can say.
I mean, there's a cool thing in the trailer that happens, but they, whatever, right? And then a lot of people go internally, they go, "Oh yeah, I should play that." Right? People say it's good. And then but
They don't
because
have
you
anything
can't
to latch
say
onto.
exactly, because you can't tell them why, there's nothing to grab, so they just kind of go like, "Yeah, right, I got to get around to that." And then you just kind of move on. It's like, this classic will be lost to time because of that. Well,
They got to get that on the personal computer so bad. They got to get
they
it on the
really,
PC.
really do. I don't have the perfect solution, but we have something pretty good. Over on Wooly versus the Algorithm, the video, a spoiler-free emotional walkthrough of 13 Sentinels came out a day or two before, and this is just a super cut of all the reactions to all the craziest moments with no spoilers whatsoever in the video. All names and or content that would tell you what's happening or context has been removed. It's just us dying.
Oh, this is pure react. I'm like just mousing through, and it's just like you and Reggie just grabbing your heads, going for about
Precisely.
8 minutes.
Yes. And there is a progress meter on the side to show you how far through the game we are, given the moment and what's happening and what we're talking about. Go check it out. Go see that.
That's good. That's good content.
That's what, because the beginning of that video is, what the commercial for this game should be, and then we show you that. So, yeah, that's the big sell, is just showing people what the game will do to you without explaining why that's happening.
I really have to say, like, 13 Sentinels is like the kind of amazing game that, like, its marketing had no chance. I remember the trailers for it, and the trailers for 13 Sentinels told me less than shit about
Yes.
what I thought that game was actually going to be.
Yes. Because they were tone trailers, which I usually really like. I like tone trailers where, yeah, like you're seeing images, you're seeing characters, settings, and scenes, and you're hearing lines that are out of context but interesting. And all it's supposed to do is set a tone for what you're going to go sit down and check out. But it's not actually describing the sequence of events to you. So here, yeah, that's it. Shout outs 13 Sentinels, because like when it comes to like going back to like good LPs and grabbing some highlights and fun moments, can't do much with that game. That entire game
really.
can't grab much. So here you are,
At some
an emotional
point
walkthrough.
at some point in the future, I'm gonna have to go through it again because I want to see what the story looks like with the foreknowledge of what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to assume maybe 80% of the game's conversations have moments of like, what does that mean? What do you think? Whoa, what's he talking? Oh, what's their game? What are they planning?
It could either be
And
really boring or really, really fun. If your story is told well, you'll have things that exist on rewatch for you as Easter eggs. You know, Memento is a great thing to rewatch once you know what's going on. It's a great movie, especially on the rewatch. Things like that are like, you want new game plus features essentially. So yeah, I hope that stands up. Hopefully on a PC.
oh, here's hoping. Let's see. I was finished with my week, and all I had left was to say is like, come see my videos. So go down to twitch.tv/Pat Stares At. I'm gonna try and finish The Witcher. I'm gonna try and finish Prey. I'm gonna try and finish Ultra Kill. I'm gonna play Binding of Isaac, and then we're gonna do the React content where I look at a guy fix an old screwdriver by man. I have to say, one of my favorite videos I watched last week was a restoration of a special type of ratchet screwdriver from like Germany in the 1700s, and I I take issue with the phrase restoration when they go, well, the part's too old, so I made a completely new handle, and then I smelted down the metal that this was made out of, and then made new parts out of the existing metal, and then drilled them, and then I replaced this spring with a new spring that I made myself, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there is
No.
very little here
You ship of
that was
Theseists.
actually the thing.
It should be called Theseusing. That's not a restoration.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's painting restorations that are also that, where it's like this painting is damaged. This is not the same as being covered and caked in soot and things that are sensitive to remove. You need a skillful painter to replicate the style of the original artist and actually paint a new thing in that spot. Not the same thing.
But yeah, go down to twitch.tv/Pat Stares At. Look at that good stuff. It's good. It's good. It's good content. Do it.
Let's take a quick word from our sponsors. Ooh. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, sorry, sound noise canceling kicked in really hard just now and was disorienting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's something, if you ever lay down with noise canceling on and like move the speaker in a weird way or cover it in a weird way, it might like create like a weird kind of sound of air pressure sometimes. You ever had that?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Well, what that is I feel that like noise canceling is projecting anti-noise into your ears, and when it's actually very quiet, I can hear the noise canceling, and it's very strange.
Yeah, I don't enjoy that disorienting feeling too much, but in any case, let me take a look over here.
Oh, I forgot to mention that we're gonna have to start putting shirts on the dog because he masturbates too much.
Was that the solution?
Yeah, no, he beats his dick so hard we had to take him to the vet.
And now the dick is hidden from access.
Yeah, he's taking. Well, we don't have shirts that are big enough right now, so we tried, and he was able to get his dick out. So we're gonna get him a bigger shirt, and
How does he pee?
when we see him beat, what do you mean? How does he pee? Oh, you take the shirt off when the dog goes out to pee.
Okay. Every bathroom usage is scheduled.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna have to. And when the dog tries to jerk off right now, we don't have a big shirt for him right now. We just be like, stop it, it's gross, and we shame him and tell him that it's unnatural and that God doesn't appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't think. No, it's one thing to be like, all right, this will calm down the desires and all that, the out of control stuff, and then it's another to aura your meat into mulch.
Think about it. So some dogs will suck their own dicks and all the time, and that's weird. But the problem is that dog can't bend his body because he's a fat piece of shit. So he's mashing his like rough dog paws into the top of his fucking rocket, and it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by Bombas, and they're about socks, shirts, and underwear that are going to be cozy, that you cannot wait to wear them every day.
You know what?
Soft,
I might want to get some nice big soft shirts in the near future.
soft, seamless, tagless, cozy feelings all over your body. Feels good. You know, you don't want sweat to build up, so why don't you get some sweat
Nope.
wicking quality? That's the stuff that you need. You know, if you if you have to, if you let's say you had to like restrict movement, you know,
Yeah,
you'd want to feel the smoothest, softest fabrics on your body.
absolutely.
And so that's where Bombas is coming in. They got the those again the seamless socks. You got the no-show socks designed for comfort, engineered to never fall down. Thoughtful design
Never.
features in their t-shirts as well. It's the pair that you can't wait to put on, and they're breathable. So when you're wearing them for a while, it feels like you're wearing nothing at all. It's good.
Nothing at all.
There you go. And of course, with each pair, with the socks, underwear, and t-shirts that you buy, those are the most requested items in homeless shelters. So Bombas is donating one for every item you buy. They've helped donate over 50 million items of essential clothing so far. So go to bombas.com/superbeast and use the code superbeast for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/superbeast. And you use the code superbeast to check out. Bombas.com/superbeast. Code superbeast. Thanks, Bombas.
Thanks, Bombas.
The podcast this week is also sponsored by DoorDash, who are just looking to remind you to not waste your time on that grocery run. Don't waste your time doing the things that you don't need to do. Chores to take care of, meetings, errands, other stuff you're planning, whatever's on that to-do list. You need to manage your time a little better. And you want to eat something tasty. So DoorDash is here to basically let you tap a few buttons, pick some food from the restaurants you love, support the places that you're not currently making it out to in person, and have them drop it off at your door. It's just been a staple for me. I've been discovering the places around town that I really like. In fact, just a week ago, a really awesome burger place just popped up on DoorDash, and they have super good burgers. And I'm like going through that menu, trying them out and enjoying them. So, yeah, it certainly helps after a long day to be able to just hit the button, set it up, and then once I'm in after work tired mode, I get to just grab dinner and munch. So yeah, DoorDash is of course out there working with over 300,000 partners you can choose from. National restaurants, they got mom and pops, they got small, big, all sizes, and of course, you can also have them deliver contactless. So they just ring the doorbell, leave it on your front
Like
step.
a ghost left you your food.
Like a ghost. Real simple, real fast. It's awesome. Gets me through my busy weeks. So for a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code CASTLE2022. That's 25% off up to a $10 value on your first order when you download the DoorDash app from the App Store and enter the code CASTLE2022. Don't forget code CASTLE2022 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Thanks, DoorDash.
Thanks, DoorDash.
The podcast is also sponsored by Honey this week, and that's real simple. Honey is about saving you money. It rhymes with money. See,
That's great. That was a good idea when they came up with that name.
that's
Also,
their
because it's sweet.
That's it. Sometimes you pick the thing that sounds like the thing, and you go, oh yeah. But essentially, shopping online, there's lots of different stores, lots of different places. You can always find a cart that will have a promo code available. If you know what it is, you can enter a code to get a discount. But if you don't know what the code is, then you get no discount. And that sucks because you just have to be in the right place at the right time. Well, Honey knows how to be in the right place at the right time because it can search the internet for any coupons or any savings or deals on whatever you're about to buy. So it's a button that appears right next to, right in your checkout screen. It says apply coupons. You click that button. It'll search. It'll find a working one. You'll watch the prices drop. And this is working on all kinds of things you're shopping for, be it fashion, tech, food, all sorts of genre of things to shop with. It's not limited. So you never know when you'll have a couple savings, a couple bucks you can save. And it doesn't just work on desktop, it also works on your iPhone. You can activate it by tapping you can activate it on Safari on your phone so you can save on the go as well. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. Do yourself a solid, support the podcast, and get yourself some savings. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/superbeast. That's joinhoney.com/superbeast. Thank you, Honey.
Thanks, Honey.
And last but not least, HelloFresh is a sponsor today as well.
Hey, HelloFresh, what's up?
This is about getting you the types of meals that you want scheduled, delivered.
Meals that I don't have to think too hard to make.
Don't think too hard. The instructions they give you, like the chicken pesto one I got, real straightforward. It's a card, and you can't fuck it up. It's straightforward. Tough. Very hard to fuck it up. And that's good, because I appreciate that. Comes out tasty, and you minimize the time. Those instructions can get real complex if you're trying to go browse through some blog that's trying to get you to click on 15 things before you get to page 2 and figure out what the proportions are. How much cilantro? What are you adding? What?
None. Fucking no cilantro. Get that out of here.
Well, it depends on what kind of genes you have, whether you taste soap or flavor. But I've been able to taste both, actually. It's weird.
Really?
Yes.
That's strange.
I've tasted cilantro, and I enjoy the flavor, but I also can taste the little bitterness that also is soap-like with it. I've been able to taste both. So I get it. Yeah. It's nice, though. It is nice. If you want to get the flavors of your choice, whether you do or do not like cilantro, you just got to check out the recipes on HelloFresh. Pick out what you want. You've got 30-plus recipes, 70-plus convenient items, all able to be delivered straight to your door. And they've got protein, vegan, vegetarian options, balanced meals, keto-friendly, quick breakfasts, wholesome snacks, desserts, craving food. All of that is real simple and available for you, as well as they're compatible with your schedule. You can make a flexible plan, update your delivery every day. So no worries about getting it at an inconvenient time. And you've got new recipes showing up regularly. You can also customize meals with Hello Custom by swapping out the sides or swapping out the proteins.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, you just whatever you like, you can really set it up and customize it for you. It's great. It's great. So no cilantro, for example, no problem. Swap it out. Go to hellofresh.com/superbeast16, and with the code superbeast16, that'll get you 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. One more time, that's hellofresh.com/superbeast16. The code superbeast16 will get you 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. That's America's #1 meal kit. Thanks, HelloFresh.
Thanks, HelloFresh.
All right. So, in the news this week, I would like to reach out and give a heartfelt congratulations to Bleach fans. You're fucking getting it. You're getting the 1,000-Year Blood War arc.
Congratulations.
I thought that thing was dead and buried, but they just
Yep.
released a trailer, and it looks like, or from what people have been saying, it's going to just jump right to the final arc, and it seems like they're going to tone and design shift things a little bit to be more manga accurate. So, if you're going to get...
Oh, there'll be no more backgrounds.
If you're going to get the equivalent of a Bleach Brotherhood out of this situation when the thing was thought to be dead and buried, then you're fucking lucky. Not many franchises or series get that kind of treatment. So you eatin' good. Congratulations on that. Is it old news? Oh, well, the trailer is not old, right? The trailer was a thing that just dropped, right?
No, the trailer dropped on 9/11.
Yeah, okay, that just dropped. So there you go. From out of nowhere. It was interesting too, because I do remember when I was watching Bleach and like that little like repeating background theme, that weird noise, like they kept like remixing it in the trailer there. So I'm like, even though I have no idea what's going on, I'm like, oh, I remember that little jingle now in its cinematic version. Interesting.
I'll tell you what's gonna happen. Ichigo's gonna fight Aizen, and Aizen's gonna beat him, and then Ichigo's gonna discover that he is in fact the blood. His dad was got a new power. And beat up Aizen.
I looked away and I looked back and I think I saw a character that was just bones and titties. I was like,
okay, sure.
I all I can see are bones and titties floating in this general direction, and I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah. So, congrats. Not everyone gets that. That's, eat up, enjoy, and appreciate it.
Okay, Aizen is already dead. Okay, the Aizen 2, the sequel. He will have a new big power.
I thought it was a movie trailer because of how it was cut. I thought they were going to summarize the entire end of Bleach into just one like movie, but it makes more sense to hear that it was an announcement for the show and coming back, or a new version of the show, I guess, but not anyway. Whatever.
I'm thinking about every time I think about Bleach, I think about how it's the only shonen I ever saw in which a main character would get an insanely cool new power and then immediately lose.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that's the way to market to maximum. You get the cool hype moment, and then you also establish what the new wall to challenge and overcome is, so you don't have to.
That happens a lot. Like
you don't have to conclude the arc too early. Fight
he was ever in, and then he's like, now I have 2 arms, and he just lost instantly. It's like, wow. Good.
That's how you keep a shonen going. You draw out the threads a little bit longer, but people feel satisfied with that power-up moment, and then they're like, yeah, and then you move the pieces further away. Anyways, October 10th, I guess, is when that's starting. All right. Other things. I mean, okay, this was a week of 2 major conferences just dropping a ton of things, and one of them was Ubi Forward, and there's a bunch of stuff there, but I mean, the only things I kind of wrote down though were just the following up the Assassin's Creed Mirage announcements. There was some stuff where there was a listing for Assassin's Creed Mirage that said it was going to get an M rating due to its content consisting of real gambling.
No, it was an AO rating for real
AO,
gambling.
excuse me, AO, 18 plus for real gambling, according to the ESRB, which is insane because nothing gets an AO. You just don't release those games because they realize like that's money on the table or whatever. But real gambling is a scary ass thing to hear, but it's not above what you could expect of the next step of the Assassin's Creed franchise. And then they came out to clarify that there is no real gambling in the game, nor are there loot boxes, and this is just, I guess, an error from the board. And we have no idea so far what they were looking at that made them like mark that way. But Ubi has the ability to certainly submit a version of the game.
Soon.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Whatever they submitted to the ESRB, they can just pull back and change in response to this type of news coming out. But I absolutely would not be surprised if turning the pot with the frog in it up by one more degree was like, fuck the fun bucks, put your cash in and get cash out. Like, while a video game is happening around this. I totally can see that step coming. You know, whether they do it in the form of I forgot what the fuck they called their NFTs, but
those things were a fucking
quartz
bomb even by NFT standards.
Yeah. I could see the ESRB looking at like quartz currency and something where you can gain more quartz back as like nope, that's real gambling. We're not playing with cosmetics anymore. We're not buying to win.
Big gamble.
You know.
I think the Mirage stuff is fairly interesting because of this, but I think what was much more interesting about
there's more, yeah.
About Assassin's Creed's announcements was a conversation that you and I had over a year ago about Assassin's Creed, in which I believe it was you, described that because you were talking about, maybe even 2 years ago, you were talking about playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You were talking about, and I was talking about how old and tired the Assassin's Creed formula was, and you're like, well, we'll find out when the Assassin's Creed franchise is on the decline because they're gonna smash that glass. And here it is, Assassin's Creed Japan.
I remember another version of that conversation like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Because I think it was when the side scroller was happening.
Oh, that was so infuriating.
And I think it was right around that time where we said something to the effect of like, when it's time to smash the glass, they're gonna pull out the actual Assassin's Creed rooftop ninja samurai Japan game, you know.
But wait, Wooly, I thought that no one cared about Japanese history, and that game wouldn't work at all because they don't have any interesting architecture, said the creative director of Assassin's Creed 3 and later Stadia shill moron.
Also, the rigging of women's bones is too difficult.
It's very tough.
So that's why we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna have the women because
I think
the bones.
I think that Assassin's Creed, first of all, it's called Codename Red, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Really, really funny.
My God! It's going down! Break the glass! Code Red! Assassin's Creed Japan!
I think my favorite part about that is the general reaction that I've seen is what I expected, which is, but I already played Ghost of Tsushima. You guys are like 5-10 years too late.
And Sekiro if you want verticality, because
Like
Ghost of Tsushima is large horizontal,
yeah,
and Sekiro gave you what you wanted from the sneaking verticality of it. You went twice
like
into this.
it's way too late. It's people were when this shit was shit hot back in fucking 2005. No, yeah, 2005, 6, 7, 8. You were like, oh, when are we gonna go to Japan? And the response back was, nobody cares about Asia. You guys want to go to Constantinople in Greece,
Yeah, but
in
Pat, you
Rome,
see,
in Rome again,
we
in
haven't
Italy.
had a chance to do Sekiro or Tsushima with worse combat.
You know, way, way worse combat than both of them.
We've missed the
Oh,
opportunity.
so I've just been linked this from thegamer.com. Devs don't want to work on Assassin's Creed Red because of the project lead's abuse allegations.
Cool beans.
Some devs at Ubisoft Quebec have asked not to work on Project Red because of creative director Jonathan Dumas, who was accused of harassment in 2020, verbally abusing and making sexual advances towards his colleagues, particularly women and new starters. The
That's
worker,
it.
who asked to remain anonymous, tells us that Dumas has been responsible for many devs leaving Ubisoft altogether due to his alleged outbursts, creating a climate of fear.
Spin the wheel. Um, Interesting considering the other article from Ubi Forward was Yves Guillemot talking about the new face and the new direction the company is going to be heading in, considering all of the allegations and and shit that's happened and how they're going to improve and so on and so forth. Yaddy, yaddy, yada.
Haven't they not improved anything at literally all at all?
Sounds like nothing at all, Duckman. Sounds like nothing at all. I think, yeah, that like you said, it's just here it is, long after anybody could have cared to actually get it. But that's also going to happen beyond 2023 too, because this is a like roadmap announcement. They also announced Code Red is the flagship title taking place in feudal Japan. It's for beyond 2023, and Ubisoft Quebec, and Ubi Montreal is working on another one called Codename Hexe.
Yeah.
And that's their plan to bring it back to in Mirage, bring it back to the Baghdad sort of like Prince of Persia vibes, and then also immediately into the Japan world. And it's like, so in both fronts you're doing kind of what a bunch of people that are more or less over the franchise have wanted like multiple
Yeah.
entries ago. And I saw the number that popped up
Apparently,
with these projects, and it said Assassin's Creed 15.
oh yeah.
And that just like, oh, that number, that hit like a sack of bricks, man.
Apparently, there's a new Skull and Bones gameplay trailer, and they also showed off Skull and Bones like somewhere, like they had a presentation. And um, from what I have heard, the person doing that presentation sounded like they had a gun to their head the whole time. And supposedly, the gameplay trailer they put out for Skull and Bones is like completely fake. Just,
15-year anniversary. My mistake. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and then there was also Assassin's Creed Infinity, which seems to be a platform which will have all the Assassin's Creed games on it that you can just have all in one, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, you know what, Wooly? When I think of a game series that I want to combine and play all back to back to back, it's definitely the game series that expanded and bloated itself to such a cartoonish degree that the number one complaint is that you must make these smaller because the games appear to be trying to monopolize your time. So I look at a service that's, oh, cool, I can play the time monopolizers back to back to back to back. Oh, goody. wonderful.
Is this because I also I'm just taking a quick glance at it. Like, how are they gonna sell this? Is it just a platform that you can then
Who the fuck knows?
download and
I
buy
don't
each
know.
individual old game on?
I will very closely look into it, but currently there's no real details.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say I would very closely look into it, but currently I just can't and don't care.
Oh no, I mean, dude,
Yeah.
I, it,
Well,
I put so much time, and also like those Assassin's Creed games were like very important, like view and popularity wise videos for the very early channel, right? Like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and all that, and just like seeing the fucking series go from like wow, look at this to like just the literally the same crap, fucking almost 20 years later. Like, oh God.
I never could have expected the trajectory when that first one came out, and it was like, oh, I guess we're replacing Prince of Persia with a new franchise that's going to be like similar, but then more open, and then also tech is a part of this. And like, yeah, the potential for that was like very large. I was very much interested and sold when I first played it, and was like happy about the potential for what that could be.
I
Um,
think I think
and a
what
lot of
broke
people
it
were.
is one that like that broke the spell was the movement to the RPG system and them expanding to be like 10 times larger. Um, and then what would happen is, oh, I could play Witcher 3, which is an incredible RPG, or I could play a version of Witcher 3 that takes place in fucking Greece that has shittier combat and a way worse story.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I just don't know which one I'm going to do.
Um, and I'm the person that also will give something way more of a chance when I think the setting is interesting. You've
Yeah.
seen this. You've seen me do this with Indivisible. You've seen me do this with Bioshock Infinite. I put a lot of like weight on a setting, and when a good setting gets wasted, it fucking bugs me. I'd love there to be an Assassin's Creed like native, thing that like again doesn't go the same way that 3 did with that, but um, it's a bummer when like a good setting gets burnt. Uh, uh, um, completely, and then it's just like, okay, never going back there. So anyway, that is that. And then a bunch of announcements relating to Disney Plus stuff came out with Marvel things and Disney things. But um,
Who
I'm
cares?
just I'm gonna just point to the fact that they announced they're gonna be making Gargoyles Remastered, which is a remastered version of the 1995 Sega Genesis game.
That's
Um,
cool.
that sounds pretty cool. Um, I'm interested in seeing how that looks. Hopefully, pretty good. But Gargoyles and playing as Goliath and crawling up the walls and doing Gargoyles things,
Yeah.
always a plus. Gargoyles rules. Um, until it didn't, but for a while there it did. So I think that's cool. Um, and it looks like they're kind of doing something similar to Treehouse of Horror with with Werewolf by Night, which is like a Halloween presentation kind of event that's like done in kitschy black and white horror 50s 60s style. So that's kind of fun too. If they keep it thematically like exactly in that flavor. A nice departure at the very least from things getting formulaic. So going to the old comics that had like tales of suspense and actually filming it like that style is could be a fun thing to do. So gonna see what that's about with Werewolf by Night. But yeah, man.
I'm fully out of the Marvel shit.
Hmm.
I don't know what it was. I really don't. But I just like, oh nah, fucking nah.
Hmm. Um, and really, those were kind of the stories of the week. Um,
Yeah, there's not a whole lot.
not a whole
Though
lot.
there's going to be a shit ton tomorrow. While we've been talking, they're going to do a Nintendo thing tomorrow morning, and they're also going to do a state of play for PlayStation tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, Nintendo Direct, instead of doing live, they decided to honor the monarchy. So we'll be getting a video, I think, tomorrow with a bunch of announcements. Which there's rumors that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are going to be getting Switch ports. I
That
thought
would
they
be
were
nice.
already playable
Bringing
on.
those to PC.
I thought they were.
I appreciate that.
uh, I thought they were already on the online thing, but we will see.
No, everybody gets a
Um,
stream, but the UK gets a video.
yeah. Um,
Let's
and
see.
like, yeah, not much else really. Like there, I mean, there was the bit about the head of 343 stepping down, but it seems like there was
Yeah,
a
but she's leaving due to
family.
a family medical issue.
Exactly. So that's not really relating to anything that we were talking about with last week or
Yeah.
so, I'd say. So yeah.
Do you guys in the live audience have any news? Because I actually straight up don't at all.
I'm down to just grab a letter, bro. Like I'll just grab a letter
Yeah.
right now. We got some coming in.
Yeah, okay.
If
Fuck it.
if
Hit some letters. If you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
that's
That's
Castle Super Beast
castlesuperbeastmail
at
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yeah, Rayman's gonna be in the Rabbids game. Rayman's
Yeah,
cool.
there's the Elden Ring gag manga. That's cool.
Sure thing. Um, Got to keep reading Chainsaw Man. Fun stuff happening there. Cyberpunk Edge Runner looks so fucking sick. The Cyberpunk trigger thing looks super cool. Um, really, really hoping that's trigger all the way. Very excited for that. It's a trigger thing first and foremost, and it's a Cyberpunk thing second. So
Yeah, I'm in a weird place in which I keep waiting to get into Cyberpunk because like Gene and Susie really like it. And I'm like, is it time now? And they both told me, yes, now is the time. But then I went and looked at the patch notes and realized that they're going to do an expansion for Cyberpunk. And one of the parts of that expansion is completely redo the entire melee system.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that seems like a big thing.
Wow. Okay.
That seems. So I'll probably keep
Um,
waiting.
right. We got one coming in from Ed Boon's tweets are all trolls, guys. He's been doing this for
Okay.
years. Stop giving
Okay.
them.
Hold on. No, sometimes they don't know. Okay? Because we're old, right? We're in our 30s. Some of these people don't know how fucking full of shit Ed Boon is. Ed Boon is the fucking North American Hideki Kamiya. Okay? Every single fucking thing that comes out of his mouth is complete bullshit. And he smiles. He has like the biggest smile when he does it, and it's fucking great. But don't listen to Ed Boon.
I'm like if you're new, just the tweets are always these things that are like gauging fan excitement for things, but it doesn't actually spell or mean anything. Read it the same way you see a Def Jam on Twitter reposting about, oh man, should we bring this game back with a picture of Fight for New York and just have people frothing at the mouth over it. These are not real things. They're not real news. They're nothing. They're meant to just, you know, yeah. So, Jesus Christ, what was that? Oh, looks like I accidentally plugged out and plugged back in a device. Anyways.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, that's not real news. You should know that. And if you don't know, now you know. Don't believe the lies. And the
Somebody
next
in the
time around,
chat,
don't bother.
somebody in the chat points out, do you remember when Ed Boon sat next to a drunk-ass Dave Lang once? Yes, I do remember that, because that's the event that led to Dave Lang passing away. Rest in peace, Dave Lang. You will be missed. I look forward to the Devolver shows in the Dave Lang Memorial Center.
We got one coming in from Vince who says, "Dear Woolbob and Patrick, when
That's
I
me.
was a small child,
Yes.
I watched Bubble Buddy episode of SpongeBob. It features a
Yeah.
scene where Pearl and her friends fangirl over a literally filthy surfer punk. He had the stink lines and everything. His name was Grubby Grouper. The joke is
I
that he
love that.
shakes Pearl's hand, and it makes her hand so filthy, and she says, 'I'll never wash this hand again.' And then the Bubble
Right.
Buddy comes by and shakes her hand, and it cleans it, and she gets all mad. For way
Right.
longer than it should, this episode convinced me that being smelly was an attractive trait. To put it in perspective, this and Johnny Bravo were my first exposures to women fawning over men. In Johnny Bravo, Johnny, the conventionally attractive one, would always be spurned in favor of the schlubby guy who uses good manners. So I thought the best way to become a chick magnet was to be smelly, schlubby, and polite. You can guess how well that worked out." It wasn't until the whole Smash players are stinky meme started to gain traction that I realized what a fool I was, and I now clean myself like a normal person. But the moral of the story is that kids are impressionable. God damn, Vince.
That so that had me real good in the first half, and then you get
Not
to the
gonna
second
lie.
half, and I feel like I'm gonna fucking die. I feel like you know those people that found out about like terror attacks from the Uwu News
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and shit like that, and you're like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't believe this is how I found out about this. This is the other person version of this, in which I'm like, did you make a life choice because you found out that Smash players are stinky and people don't like that?
100%.
All right,
100%.
so I have one thing to say about that, and that I'm sorry, but your parents completely failed you. That is not your no. That is not your fault.
I
Like
mean,
you should have had a parental figure. Like be like, the fuck is going on with this,
so, like,
and help you.
there's mild versions of this that apply. For example, when Axe put their marketing out with, like, if you spray it on, you will get tackled by ladies everywhere you go. And
Yeah,
that being on TV for a solid 10 years actively blew their sales up and made them really popular because
yeah.
somewhere deep down, even though people know that's irrational, they kind of go, yeah, but what if?
No, I think you and everyone knew someone who did not think that was irrational, who thought that was real.
Well, it worked.
Just more acts, just
It
more.
worked. The marketing plan there, for either reason, worked out swimmingly. That happening at a cartoon level because of SpongeBob and Johnny Bravo, and the combination of those traits is the most tragic shit. The
It's
most
not good.
tragic shit ever.
You
Dear
know,
God. At least there's
a
a
lot of
happy
peop-
ending here.
a lot of people think kids are impressionable, and the thing that was big when we were kids was you can't let the kids watch the wrestling, because about 5% of kids that watch wrestling will
Yes.
seriously injure
Yes.
themselves
Mm-hmm.
doing dumbass wrestling shit.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? A proportion of kids will do fucking anything they see on TV or anywhere.
Lionel Tate. That was the case, I believe, of the kid who did a wrestling move on, I think, his little sister, and she died. And then that led to a massive precedent for moment in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, kids are fucking stupid, and your parental figures or guardians or whoever should have been checking in on you every now and then when you watch the TV and be like, "Hey, what's going on with SpongeBob or Johnny Bravo or school or what anything?"
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, that sucks.
Oof. Oh yeah, that was the kid that was he was also tried as an adult and I believe given life, despite being a child. Um,
Hey, wait a second. It is okay to be bald.
what?
Someone in the chat saying, "Pat, you made my kid believe it's okay to be bald." Listen, it is because I didn't have no choice, man. This started. I was not even in university before this started to go. I was getting out of high school when this shit started to fall out. There was no
And
hope. There was no hope. Well, you met me when I was 17. It was already like halfway
oh yeah,
here.
oh no, for sure. I also remember growing up seeing like Prince William with a head of hair, and that shit evaporated uh,
Yeah.
at 20 or whatever the fuck it did, and it just immediately he just became that guy. Um, Brutal. What are you gonna do? Um, get carried in a throne by a bunch of people that you've colonized as they march you along. That's what you're gonna do, actually. Anyway,
I haven't done that. I just want to point out that me going bald did not lead to me being carried by a colonized throne.
there's some wild shit that like I'm like there every once in a while something happens and people start pulling out stuff like, hey, you ever see this one? And I saw that photo of just Prince William being carried by a bunch of black people on a throne, and it was like, what the fuck
Goody.
is happening?
Oh, did that? You know
What
what's
is
great?
this?
You know what's great
When
about a
did
moment
that
like that,
happen?
Wooly? You know what's great? I haven't seen that image, but I can immediately conjure it in my mind. And I'm getting an emotional reaction, and you're getting an emotional reaction, and they're both very, very negative reactions, but they're also completely different. And that's how the British royal family brings us all together. Despite our differences, we're all having horrible, horrible internal reactions to the things that we see.
Um, here you go for posterity, and just
Oh, yeah!
yeah, you can just take a look at that
That
one.
sucks!
Oh yeah, just
And he's having a great time with it, too, which makes it way worse.
there you go.
And the guys carrying him are not having a great time.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh, yeah. That's just.
It's good.
Don't like it.
It's good. All right. Anyways, we got one over here. Coming in from you. Take a look.
Get this off my. I want this off my
Oh no!
screen. Make
Oh
this
no! No!
delete
No!
this.
You put that on your wallpaper, son.
I hate
You
it
fucking-
so much.
You wallpaper
I hate
that
it.
photo.
Oh. Oh, this is I'm having the same reaction I had, which of like just disgusted anger when I saw King Tampon going, move the pens,
Fucking
move the pens.
look at it.
Just
If you-
this violent disgust.
If you want to play along at home, you can just go to Google, I believe, and type the words Prince William carried on a throne.
I hate it.
Anyway,
I hate it.
here is one coming in from Dexter says, Dear Algorithm Warriors, no question, just a weird story you might find interesting. Love those. During my recent holiday in France, I visited Louvre,
Alright.
and I was surprised to find a lot of people walking around the museum with a Nintendo 3DS hanging around their neck. Turns out the museum had an official guide app on the 3DS store for years, and in
Oh, that's
2020,
right. I remember this.
they commissioned a special edition of the console created to be rented out as an audio guide through the museum guests. This version has special graphics on the front, marking the buttons to help people who are not familiar with the console, and it has a physical lock preventing the use of game cartridges. I find it interesting to find a niche setting, to find a specific niche being the reason why the 3DS can still be relevant today. Love your work. Keep fighting the dreaded algorithm. We believe in you. Thank you, Dexter.
That is a cool-ass story, and I am going to use it to piggyback, because we have so much extra time, to my favorite psychological disease, unique to Paris, France. Wooly, have you ever heard of Paris syndrome?
As in the Japanese thing?
Yes.
Absolutely. It is
Paris
fascinating.
syndrome is a nearly unique to Japanese tourist mental disorder, which is a sense of extreme disappointment exhibited by individuals visiting Paris who feel that the city is not what they had expected. It is a form of depression that is basically super culture shock, because Paris is like lionized in Japan as like being this great place, but also everywhere in the world. But for some reason, Japanese tourists seem to get it extra bad. And so they go down to Paris and everything reeks of piss, and it's disgusting and horrible. And it is it's such a bummer that it hurts people.
So I called it Postcard Paris, where there's a visual that you're going to have a little cafe, and you're going to sit at that cafe, and you're going to sip on a little coffee, and you're going to look out at the Eiffel Tower, and you're going to hear the soundtrack to Amélie Poulain. And it just is not that. And I believe this is the exact same thing that people with post-Pandora syndrome get. But they've just directed it in a different place.
Yeah.
Post-Pandora, same feeling for
wild.
people who watched the movie Avatar with the blue tail things from years ago.
I'm seeing some folks describe that out in PEI, there's actually a variation of this that applies to Green Gables.
Oh. Anne of Green Gables fans?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, somebody in the chat points out, but Paris is real. Let me tell you, the version of Paris that you have seen is not.
Postcard Paris ain't Paris, man.
Every popular media depiction of Paris is wildly inaccurate to the point of it may as well be a fantasy land.
So I saw a picture that burnt into my brain and it never left me. And it was, here's what the Euro trip you think in your head will be, and here's what it actually is. And it's every iconic location. It's the Eiffel Tower. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's the boats in Venice. Everything beautiful. And it shows you what it will actually be like when you get there versus what it's like in a perfect picturesque postcard. And dear God, man, like Venice is clogged with boats and people going out on their rides. Like the canal
and the water in Venice is like dangerous, filthy.
It's crazy how it looks in reality by comparison.
Yeah.
You know,
San Francisco, I think of the Full House intro and the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah. What I don't think of is sidewalks covered in human feces.
And an app to tell you where the next shit pile is.
Yeah.
Which you can use. Yeah, man. It's wildly like, it's a thing, but a lot of people that are like, being tourists and going to a country for the first time don't necessarily know what to expect, and they kind of drum up this image based on media and movies, and it ain't fucking it. What I can say is, like, you can probably fight back against some of that if you're willing to go off the beaten path to places that are cool but not as visited. I mean, one of the ones that's like pretty fucking gross is like, have you seen the lineup for Mount Everest?
I have not.
It's so fucking depressing. From the base camp, which gets left behind in just... It's a garbage dump. The base camp at Everest, and at K2 for that matter, are garbage dumps of just trash where people leave their shit when they put their tent up. And then the summit of Everest is a lineup of like a couple hundred people waiting in line to walk up, take their selfie on the summit, and walk off. And it's
this looks like shit.
There's traffic on the peak of Everest. It's insane. It's super insane.
I tell you what. Somebody asked, why do Japanese tourists seem to be so disproportionately affected by this? I can hazard a single guess. And the guess revolves around my experience visiting Japan, that is, Japan looks like Japan. The number one thing that I remarked about walking down literally every Japanese street I ever walked down was that it was fucking immaculate, and I never saw a single piece of litter in my entire time there.
Postcard Japan is Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything that you can see, there's a bunch of weird shit you can't see.
Oh, yes.
But
attitudes,
everything you
people, fucking isms, all the isms that are invisible.
Everything you can see with your eyes
yes.
does look like the postcard.
Very important to specify that the Japan in your head, when it comes to the way people might treat you, is something else completely.
Yeah.
But the way it looks, absolutely.
You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of my own personal version of this, which is if you type in Montreal or Mount Royal into fucking Google Maps or whatever, you'll see these beautiful photos of like the top of the mountain skyline in Montreal. But what you don't see is the 35 raccoons trying to climb into your ass to steal your shit when you're trying to take that photo.
Yeah. It's something, man. It's fucking something. But yeah, and to some degree, like those photos I'm talking about with like just all the Euro trip reality versus expectation stuff affect like where I want to go and what I want to check out in the world.
Yeah.
I don't have a super strong sense of wanderlust. I see particular things and I'm like, I'm very interested in seeing that specific thing. Let's go see that, you know?
Oh man. I just loaded up Twitter just to check something, and I saw one of my oomfies going, what the fuck is Pat reacting to on the podcast? I don't see anything, followed by, oh no, I just saw it. And I assume it's our fucking Prince, what is that, William?
Prince William.
Shit. Oh, that's one of my favorite reactions you can have, which is, oh, what are you guys looking at? What do you go, just like the curiosity followed by a punch to the throat. What's going on in here?
Yes. The Prince of Wales. This is the Duke of Edinburgh. Anyway, whatever.
By the way, Oomphy, for those of you who don't know, means one of my mutual follows.
Congratulations, you'll never be able to unlearn this cursed knowledge. Here we go. Meyer says, Dear Willie and Pat, longtime fan of the content and listener of the podcast since last year, a recent announcement of Assassin's Creed Mirage got me thinking about the Prince of Persia series. The Sands of Time trilogy is near and dear to my heart, and I received those games in a box set for Christmas many years ago, spent the next months playing and replaying each. I've also played 2008 Reboot and Forgotten Sands. Despite my love for the series, I don't trust Ubisoft with reviving it. The mediocre output and Ubification of their titles makes me think it'd be better if Prince of Persia remained dead, because the reboot would probably be a soulless live service disappointment. Same applies to Splinter Cell. I love those games, but Ubisoft's treatment of their Tom Clancy games does not inspire confidence. Is there a game series that you desperately want to see continued or revived, but also think it's probably for the best that it stays dead? Go ahead.
Got one.
Yep.
Mass Effect. Also, the chat are saying Metal Gear, and boy, yeah, let's put everything Konami has ever made on that list.
I was gonna say that, like, Metal Gear for me doesn't count because the moment Kojima left, I stopped wanting Metal Gear.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know, the desire left completely. But I want it, but it'd be probably for the best if it stayed dead. Mega Man Legends 3.
Oh man, no one. Like, here's the thing about that, because there's always these types of games that people talk about. Like, what if that came back? I'm like, most of the people who worked on those things are dead, no longer work at those companies, or have left the industry entirely.
Like, I don't know what that would look like now, but it makes me nervous to think. Yeah. I don't know, man. Because Mega Man 9 and 10 and stuff like that, you can kind of just follow the formula to some degree and, you know, not... But, you know, Capcom is so fucking hit and miss, man. You know. Jet Set Radio, oof. We've moved on to Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, quite frankly.
Oh, hey, I've got another one.
Mm-hmm.
Elder Scrolls.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The old ones or the new ones?
What?
Aren't there, like, the Oblivion, Skyrim, and such games, and then the post?
What do you, yeah, the fancy ones that are the Elder Scrolls. And then there's
Elder Scrolls games. Is it okay? Here's what's going on in my brain, because I'm not that familiar. I'm remembering Elder Scrolls games where you could look at a character in an isometric point of view.
No, that's not real. That's never existed.
That's not a thing? Okay.
No.
Okay. What were those old games? Here, let me take a look.
Elder Scrolls are first-person RPGs. Daggerfall, Morrowind, Arena, Skyrim, Oblivion.
Okay. Wikipedia. Hold on a second. I'm not thinking of Fallout because I'm thinking of a fantasy game.
Yeah, no, Fallout would be an easy pick even for somebody who didn't know.
Are
you thinking of Baldur's Gate again?
No, because I know that. I know that as well. With the Diablo-like, with the orbs and the, you know.
It's not. God damn it! Are you doing that on purpose?
The camera is in the faraway place. You're looking at an isometric fantasy character. For the love of God, you are looking at a faraway camera of a character that is small.
Yeah, but you always say Diablo, and then you say the orbs, which is something that's only in Diablo.
Okay. So Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. What did Daggerfall look like? Give me a second.
It looks like shit. It looks like fucking shit. It's also like the largest game world that's ever been created.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, that's super first person.
It's like larger than like the entirety of England, I think.
Okay. Not Elder Scrolls. There's a franchise. It's fantasy, and I installed one of them a long time ago, and I thought that was Elder Scrolls, and it was
Is it Dungeon Siege?
No, I don't think it's Dungeon Siege.
So I assume this is older, right? This is like 90s.
Definitely old. Yeah.
Okay, the problem we're running into is that describes maybe like 45 different games.
Okay.
It could be Ultima. It could be Might and Magic.
Hold on. Hold on. It's definitely not Ultima because I know what Ultima is. I know what Ultima is. It's Might and Magic. It's Might and Magic.
Yeah, okay.
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Yeah, okay. Hey, fun fact, particularly in regards to this conversation, what the conversation we're having, would you not want it back, already happened to Might and Magic.
Okay.
In that they kept making new ones.
Yeah.
Because they had the rights, and they were fucking terrible.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I super thought, because I installed Might and Magic 3 or 4 a million years ago. And I thought that Morrowind was like, Morrowind was now we're doing first person Might and Magic, and it's a completely different take on the franchise type of thing. That's what it was. I blurred those two together in my head. Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't want any more Elder Scrolls games. I could not have less faith in Bethesda to make a game I want to play ever again.
There's probably a lot that fit into this category.
Like,
love it, but let
any
it die.
genre more than 6 years old, any series older
when the
than
dev team is gone completely, you know, and there's just no one left, or even like a blueprint to follow.
There's only one series of games that I can think of that has had a ton of shitty ones as well as a ton of good ones, and has rotated through their dev team like 5 times, and I'll still be interested in every new release, and it's Final Fantasy. And the reason for that has always been because Final Fantasy games have nothing to do with each other at all.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas all the other ones, like, you know, a Bethesda RPG has to be first person. It has to be a certain way. It has to have certain things.
Once upon a time, Final Fantasy games had to have at least similar gameplay. The RPG system had to resemble the combat from the previous ones in terms of the identity of the brand. But that's gone too. So the name could just be anything.
People in the chat are saying Halo. Guys, you are like 2, maybe 3 games too late on that one. Way too late. Way too late. Like Halo used to be games that even if I didn't like them, I could appreciate their quality even from a distance, literally from a distance, like across a room. And now every time anyone talks about Halo to me, they're just complaining about how fucking shitty the newest Halo is.
Yeah, I'm looking back at my shelf and I'm just thinking, like, really anything with a Konami logo on it.
Like every single one, every single goddamn one.
Well, those Bomberman games are still fun, I guess, but that's basically Hudson. Right?
How? I was about to say, how could you possibly fuck up Bomberman? And the neuron fired, and like, wait, they did. They did actually horribly fuck up Bomberman.
Hello?
That happened.
Are we erasing? Is this Act Zero erasure?
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
Act Zero erasure will not be tolerated on this podcast. Excuse me. All right. There you go. That'll do it. That's good.
All right, we got to end this podcast because I need to fill up the Discord chat with shit so I don't have to keep looking at this fucking photo of Prince Andrew on this fucking throne.
The fact that you haven't closed it yet tells me that you know deep in your soul
I have to...
it needs to remain open.
I'm sending messages too quickly. I don't care. I'm just hitting a bunch of letters as fast as I can to get it up off the top of the screen.
It needs to stay there.
All right. No, I can't see it anymore. I moved it.
Great. Bye.
Bye.